we can go ahead. It looks like it's 6:30, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Paula, if you can go ahead and take roll call for us.
District 2, Alderman Zacarías. District 3, Alderman David Emery.
Present.
District 4, Alderman Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
District 5, Alderman Charles Tate.
Here.
And District 1, Alderman Joseph Morales.
Thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you could please rise, let's go ahead and give respect to our nation by doing our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now we have some folks out here that had an opportunity before an event to actually stand up there and see that. Get a little bit of goosebumps that goes along with that, especially after the recognition. That's what it's all about. Okay, before we get into that, let's go ahead and take care of item number 4. We have citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the city council on any issue or any item on the agenda in compliance with LGC section 551.007. City council may not discuss any presented issues, nor may take any action at any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. This is based on Attorney General Opinion JC 0169. Matt, do we have anybody?
No, sir.
Okay. One last call. Any citizens to be heard? Anybody? Okay. So please annotate, follow. No citizens to be heard in that. All right. Let's go ahead and jump right into number 5. And this is a proclamation presentation to Lytle ISD boys and girls weightlifting/powerlifting. And that's what it's all about for us to go ahead and recognize. So let me go ahead and get in front over here so we can go ahead and take care of that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start with Natalie. Come on up, Natalie. I'm going to bring the coaches. Come on up, coaches. We'll do this. Yours. And I'll let you, if you want to go ahead and begin while we're doing this, go ahead.
Proclamation where the city of Lytle, Texas is proud to honor Melody Pacheco for her many accomplishments in the classroom and Lytle ISD Power District program. And where the city of Lytle, Texas acknowledges the great accomplishments under the leadership of coaches Melissa Gomez and Sharon Leon, inviting and assisting Natalie to reach her state recognition. And whereas the city of Lytle recognizes Natalie as a THS WTA Academic All-State athlete. And whereas the city of Lytle recognizes Natalie receiving first place in Bobby Beat. And whereas the city of Lytle recognizes Natalie receiving first place in best overall lifter in Somerset meet. And whereas the city of Lytle recognizes Natalie receiving first place original competition, a rough sum meet and breaking both regional step record and full regional records with points received. And whereas the city of Lytle and the city council recognizes Natalie Pacheco as a state 3A Division 1 champion of principal meet by achieving the best personal records in all lifts, squats, bench, and deadlifts.
Okay. So now, therefore, I, Ruben Gonzalez, by the virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor of the city of Lytle, Texas, and recognition, therefore, do hereby proclaim that proclaim that the city of Lytle, Texas, feels this proclamation is in order to recognize the many accomplishments of senior Natalie Pacheco, Lytle ISD, Pirates High School powerlifting athlete. And then it's signed today's date, both with our city secretary and myself. So if we can go ahead and flip this over. And council, if you can please stand right around over here. And okay, we're gonna do 2 photos, okay? First one, so you guys can take some photos, we'll do it here. And then you guys will come up and join us, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and take a photo like this. All right, let's go ahead and bring the parents. Come on up. Let's go ahead and join us. There we go. Perfect. Okay, before we take the photo, I just want to let you know, we're very proud of her and all her great accomplishments. And, on here, we pretty much structured and concentrated a lot based on the powerlifting. But if a lot of you know, she's an awesome softball player. And man, Because we're so fortunate of what you've been able to do, not only for yourself, but our actual school. And we're very happy to hear that you've actually been taken in by UIW to go up there and be able to represent them. That's a huge accomplishment too. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a photo. Here we go. Awesome, awesome. We're gonna call you up in a little bit, so stand by, we can get another one. You guys get to work the camera a few times, so that's pretty good. It's the least we can do on behalf of the council, right? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the next one. Mario, come on up, sir. All right, coaches, come on up. Go ahead.
Whereas the city of Laredo, sponsored by Mario Diaz, the Laredo ISD Power District Program, and whereas the city of Laredo acknowledges the great accomplishment and the recognition. And whereas the city of Laredo recognizes Mario being awarded first place in Texas Screen System and Best Overall Lecturer. And whereas the city of Laredo recognizes Mario receiving first place and the highest meet and Best Overall Lecturer. And whereas the city of Laredo recognizes Mario awarded first place of and Best Overall Lecturer. Whereas the city of Laredo recognizes Mario as first original meet competition in his weight class at Kerrville and earning an outstanding lecturer award. And whereas the city of Laredo and the city council recognizes Mario Diaz as a state relay exhibition fleet champion by receiving a gold medal at Abilene. And whereas the city of Laredo recognizes Mario Diaz as all district football first team defense lineman.
Now therefore, I, Ruben Gonzalez, by the virtue of authority invested in me as mayor of the city of Lido, Texas, in recognition therefore do hereby proclaim the city of Lido, Texas feels this proclamation is ordered to recognize many accomplishments of, and get this is the best part, junior, he's a junior, okay? Mario Diaz, Lido ISD Pirates High School powerlifting and football athlete. And it's signed today both by a city secretary and myself. So this is awesome. It is awesome. Let's take a quick photo. Council, please join us. Hey, do the fingers. Oh, there we go. We got it? All right, here we go. Now we get, I think we can do this. You brought a lot of family. Council, is it okay if we kind of surround the family back over there? Okay, here we go. Parents, come on up over here, siblings, and then family who came here and friends. Let's go ahead and do the outside. Here we go. Come on up. Let's take a photo. Come on up. And get everybody. And get everybody. Everybody, you can stand here, stand in the back. We'll get you all in there. There you go. Get in there. Get in there. You got room in the back. Make sure that we can see you in the camera.
I got it. No, come on. Go ahead. Come on, puppy. Try, come on. I got it. Come on, puppy.
Come on. Make sure we can see everybody. Nobody hides. All right, abuelita. I want to see abuelita.
I can take it if you want to get
Good.
Come on, puppy.
Come on up. There we go.
Right here, puppy.
There we go.
Right about here.
There we go. Okay, we'll go down here first. Here we go.
Yes. You have to go through the actual camera.
Oh,
there it is. Yes, yeah, there you go.
Old school. There you go. Okay, one more. Here we go.
Everybody, I don't know if I can see.
All right. Yeah. Football field and everything. No. Appreciate it. You guys deserve it. You guys are doing a great job. Abuelita. Hey, lastly, how about a round of applause for our coaches that made all this happen wherever they are. You would see them at the meet and they're running around. They had like backpacks, they took care of business all over, just coordinating. and they just made it happen, so thank you so much. We're gonna get into the regular part of the meeting. You're more than welcome to stay if you wanna stay here, but if it's time to go and go celebrate, it's time to go celebrate. That'll be good. So you guys are excused if you'd like to, okay? Thank you for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks, man. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. All right, council, let's go ahead and move on to item number 6. This is the consent agenda. Consider approval of payment of bills. Lynette has actually provided copies to you. Charles, did you actually get the email with that?
I do have that email, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead and take a few minutes on that. Usually for the next. Did we have it on there?
No.
No, it was just.
No, it's not on there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can.
Mayor, I want to make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and approve the bills.
Second.
I got a second. And any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Charles, do you have an actual vote on that?
Mayor, I'm looking over this email. I didn't receive bills. I received a budget report.
Okay. Did you want to abstain for now, or do you want a few minutes to go ahead and review?
I'll abstain.
Okay,
Y'all, y'all have 3 votes, correct?
that is correct.
Okay. Or I'll abstain because I can't vote on something I have no information on.
Roger that. Okay, so go ahead and, I'll just make annotation on that. Appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 7, open session, take action on items discussed. A, consider and act upon a bid from BK Knowlton in the amount of $38,700 for construction of a 12-inch water line extension to service our new water tower in the Rosewood subdivision. Matt?
So council, in working with TRC, looking at this new water tower that's gonna go up in the Rosewood subdivision, we gotta make a connection off of their 12-inch main to our water tower. In looking at the plat or the PDF I gave you with the colors on it, the dark blue bold line is the 12-inch main they already have coming through. It's already in the ground with them. We can wait till the tower goes up and have to dig up all the roads or bore and do all that at a higher cost, or we can go ahead and have BK Knowlton do this work now for us, stub it out and be ready for us when the tower goes in, saving us some money. BK Knowlton has submitted a bid. They've honored the same rate that they were charging the developer. We worked with the engineers for that to see if the developer was just willing to do it as part of their deal, but unfortunately, because of other things, they weren't. So $38,700 is what BK Knowlton wants to put that 12-inch line in, and you've got the specs right there on what all they're wanting to do.
I know we've had this discussion before, trying to help out in preparation to give us a lot more flexibility.
Yes, this is connected to a 12-inch main that is already looped through their subdivision, back out to the new Lotto Farm subdivision, connects into the new 12-inch loop we're gonna put through town. And we have to put this in, it's just whether we do it now and save some money, or we wait and do it later and it costs us more money by tearing up the roads or boring, stuff like that. This would come out of the series of obligation money for water system improvements, and then we just go from there. If for some reason the other bids come in high or something, we figure out.
Thanks, Matt.
Mr. Beer, there doesn't have to be a bid put out? We're going to put this up?
The bid package requirement is required with the project is in excess of $50,000, so this is
Okay.
underneath that. And so informal bidding, just price quotes in general, it's already been designed generally for the project anyway, so it's a fairly abbreviated process.
This is 120 feet?
Is that what it came out to?
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, that's what they, 160 linear feet of 12-inch water main extension, 2 12-inch gate valves, 12-inch by 12 T, hydrostatic pressure test, and then their mobilization to do the work. It won't get done right away. They'll probably do this once, because that contractor's gonna move out off the project for probably 4, 5, 6 months while CPS comes in and tears it all up, put in the underground utilities and do their work. Then the contractor will come back in, do this project, and then put in all the roads. So it'd be my recommendation that we do this and save a little money now.
Mayor, I move that we accept the bid from BK Knowlton, amount of $38,700 for construction of 12-inch water line extension to service new water tower in the Rosewood subdivision.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
I'm going to second it.
Okay, got a second? Discussion?
Mayor, I have some questions on this project.
Okay, go ahead, Charles.
Matt, do we have the plans back from TRC yet? They were going out for designing this about a month ago, I suppose.
For the entire, water tower and everything? Is that what
No, sir, for this particular aspect of the project, and if we don't have them, is this addition included in what we had already, that $771,000 that we had already talked about spending on the 3 projects, right? Because I imagine this ties into the elevated storage tank.
Yes, this is part of that elevated storage tank, project, and we're trying to save some money by doing the work now versus later.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm in agreement that we should be saving money whenever we can, not going back in and having to tear anything out. But I guess, my thoughts on this were, of course, that was included in the scope of the work that TRC was gonna do. And that also, since this is a public water systems job, if those plans have been approved, by TCEQ. Because I saw in, BK Knowlton's, quote that, this quote was good for 30 days, right? And something that was particularly interesting to me, was that it excluded from the quote, rock excavation and trenching, right? And I think that they've had quite a bit of difficulty trenching out sandstone out there. And I don't know if anybody from BK Knowlton is there tonight, but I imagine that if they gotta go back in there and remove 160 linear feet of sandstone, it's gonna add quite a bit to, the cost of this project, right? So I'm just making sure, for one thing, that, we're budgeting accordingly. Because going into my next point, in this, agenda item, in the fiscal impact, we talked about how, there are $38,700 is gonna be paid from that certificate of obligation, that was earmarked. So I know this has been brought up in past meetings, how, the money from that CO has been earmarked. I'm wondering, for one thing, where we're at, where are we at in spending that $8.5 million? Because I know, for one thing, that at least, from the plans from the wastewater treatment, from the 3 projects, that's putting that, us about 2.2. And from what Mr. Bell told us in the last meeting, the probable construction cost for these 3 projects we're looking at getting accomplished is hovering at about 5.4. So coupling the plan cost with the probable construction cost and the sidewalk, matching grant for the sidewalk, and the first certificate of obligation payment, my numbers are adding up over 8.5. So really, ultimately, I'm wondering where this money is coming from if we've already earmarked all that $8.5 million.
So
And it's I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's not that I don't want to see it get done, but from a council standpoint, we have that fiduciary responsibility, right, to make sure that those tax dollars are being spent properly. So that's really my whole series of questions, and we can just address them however you see fit.
So in working with TRC on this, they still feel everything's within line. This is their recommendation. They couldn't make it tonight because they had other obligations, but this is all part of their overall plan in their scope of work out there. We have the contract for the water system that we approved the last one, the $771,000. still being reviewed by legal, they had a couple of little items they wanted to change on it, that gets signed off on, and then we start the process of building it and bidding and everything. The sidewalk, the 380, that's already been paid for, that's already 100% funded. And then the street improvements, that's about to go out to bid. We've got the bid package today to review, so we can put those out to bid. Again, if we bid all these and they come in over bid, then I guess we do like every other project, we decide if we've got other funds somewhere else, or we rebid the project again.
So two questions, Ben, on this. So TRC actually reviewed this, right?
Yes, this all came from TRC.
Okay, so they reviewed it, they took a look at it, and what they're doing for the 12-inch and laying it down would be the same place that we would be laying down the other pipe, right?
Yes.
So it's nothing additional or anything. I know it's gonna be a little bit wider, but pretty much they were already trenching.
Yeah, this is what TRC said, hey, we should do this now before we get streets and curbs in later. We're gonna kind of throw this little project in ahead of time, so we preempted the other one. That way we don't have to pay for it in the higher cost later. This was all TRC driven to us.
Yeah, so looking back around that, I guess, a better question, right, to clarify my position on this. This project is included in the 771,000 that TRC came with us last time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, because like I brought up, right, and you can, attest to this, is that Rosewood had some issues, right, with that sandstone out there.
Yes, sir. I agree.
And I wish that somebody was there tonight to tell us how much that's gonna increase your cost, because, that's kind of been slowing them up out there. So I'm just curious as to, how much that will increase the cost, because I think it's important to know. I mean, I think it should be included, before we start paying for anything, really.
It's counting.
But as long as that dollar amount's already included in that 771, I don't wanna come back and say, well, we got to spend an additional $30,000 to engineer this aspect of the project as well. If we've already agreed to pay for this, I hope that it is included, and that we're not, gonna be on the hook for something else.
Yeah, no, this is all driven by them as part of the entire package. And then VK Knowlton is the engineer or the contractor doing the work out there. And if they, again, I wasn't involved in this, it was our engineers working with their engineers through VK Knowlton, and then we got the quote in. All the engineers are aware of the sandstone that's out there and where it is and where it's not, and if they felt it was in that place, I imagine they would have bid it, but if council wants, I can verify that tomorrow.
So this is basically just a difference from going, what were they gonna put, a 6-inch or 8-inch?
An 8-inch, yes, sir.
An 8-inch, so this is the difference between putting an 8-inch to putting a 12, basically. Okay.
So it's not like we're spending extra money to do this. We're actually in the long run spending less money to do this. We're just bidding out that portion of it now at a lower amount.
Yes, and we're gonna connect into that 12. We're gonna have a 12 to 12 versus a 12 onto an 8 kind of thing. That way we can keep the capacity.
Okay.
And what is that 12 connected into out on 2790, that coming out of subdivision?
12-inch mains. So it will come in, so they run a 12-inch main from the one that is running in front of the Lytle State Bank currently. Our project will bring a 12-inch main through the back end of town, up McDonald Street, connect into the 12 that's already run in front of Lytle State Bank. And then as part of the Lytle Farms project, they're gonna run a new 12-inch main from in front of the Cape properties all over there, sir, all the way down that side of the road, through their, across the front of their subdivision. And then the 12-inch main you see through Rosewood will come out, they bore under 2790 and connect it. So we're gonna have a few loops in there of 12-inch mains.
Yeah, so that 12-inch loop, we're talking about saving money, right? I guess, ultimately, how are they gonna bore underneath, there? I mean, how are they getting that? I know they're doing all that work over there on the frontage roads to complete that loop. What are the plans there? Do we have any idea?
You cut out, you asked if they were gonna bore under 35, sir?
Yeah, you're connecting, right? You're talking about McDonald Street, right, which is 2790. to complete, the loop of the system.
Yes, it's gonna be a bore,
They're-
yes.
Yeah, so they're doing all that work right now on the access roads. Have we talked with TxDOT at all? Are the contractors involved in that? In doubling up the work, right? I mean, that's the whole purpose of this, is that we're not creating additional work, incurring additional costs. Is there anything to mitigate any expense on that end as well? with what they're
I don't-
doing?
We can reach out to Texas and talk, and I don't believe so, because they're gonna have their project done far before we probably get this awarded and bid out. Well, actually, I know we will, because that side over there is already completed on 2790. Outside of turn lanes, the developers have to put in later. But the part in front of Lago State Bank, what they're doing there is completed. So what we're doing over there is already too late to work with the contractor on.
Just something to keep in mind for future projects, right?
Yes, sir.
That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Council, anything else? All right, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I will verify on the Sandstorm thing with engineers tomorrow too.
I'll show the message on that later.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to,
This week. 30 seconds.
okay, let's go ahead and go to B. Update and review the city's classification by the Insurance Services Office, Building Code Effectiveness Grading Schedule.
So council, this is something that started prior to me taking my position down here. I was involved in some emails back and forth. My familiarity with this program is on the fire side. ISO is used to, they grade the fire departments in a multitude of things, and then they use that grade to set insurance rates and get insurance on your homes. I wasn't aware they had one on the building side, but apparently they do. So I kind of helped, I don't say help, I helped steer the gentleman to the right points down here at City Hall so they could start this process. When I took office down here in May, it had still not been completed. It kind of died off and didn't get anything done. So we went back in and filled out the information, sent it on to the gentleman. When we actually came back and he did our evaluation, our building codes were so outdated that that's what drove our classification from a 6 up to a 10. The highest you can get is 10. So that's why we went to a 10-10 rating, sheerly because of our building codes being so, all of our codes being so old.
Is 10 better than 6 or
No,
worse than 6?
one is your best, 10 is your worst.
Got it.
So we went to a 10 from a 6. We since adopted all the new building codes. That's what drove that. So I spoke to the gentleman. I've already requested a reevaluation, which he said, can't officially tell you, but unofficially tell you that based off of just doing the code change and getting us up to date, it'll bring you back down to a 6. So what I'll do now is you'll see what I sent you is a multitude of line items. I'm sure it's kind of like the fire side. Hey, you got to have, so many things on this fire truck, this kind of hose, that kind of. So I will start working on that item by item and see how we can better the score over. I don't know if it's like the fire side, you have to have so many years of history on that item to get the full credit. But now that I've got it, I'll go through it and try to get the scores better and get us as low as we can for our residents to get better insurance rates. I'm still waiting for them to approve the reevaluation, which should be really quick because they're not changing anything other than I send them the ordinance where we adopted it. They adjust the codes and give us a new credit.
And council, we wanted to bring it up to you, for transparency, just to make sure that everybody understood where we're at with this. Just because to us, we were really surprised by the actual rating. But at the same time, we've done some things like Matt has said to be able to provide this. One of the other things as part of the rating scale, and they have briefed us, is for them to actually come up with a new building permit program too. It goes along with that. You've gone electronic, right?
Yeah, we've gone electronic with all of our buildings, so we've got the history, whereas before, like for this, I had to go to Paul and say, I need control on this. And a lot of it was trying to go back through the old permits and thumb through them and find out how many we issued for this, how many. Now under the new system, a click of a few buttons, we have all the data we need versus the amount of manpower it took to.
So you can only imagine Sam, how long have you lived in your house?
55 years.
55 years.
Oh, actually, longer than that.
Longer than that. So just say 55 years. And for some reason, somebody comes in and says, let's go look at Sam's place and let's see, you know, what has he done, modified, gotten permits, gotten inspections done and stuff. You literally would have to go 50 years through all the files to find everything that he did. With the new software that they're introducing, guess what? You pull up the address and we'll be able to start adding and compiling the data. So you can pull everything that was actually went with that home.
And we're in it now, so I can take today, I looked through 3 different permits today, they were simple ones. But in the document section, was able to go through and look at what I needed to and click approve, send emails out to who, like Rosario is the final, send it to her and say, hey, this is ready, I've approved it. And in the system, when you open it up, it shows who has to review it, the building, well, every inspector on there, code compliance, myself, and Paul are kind of the last 2 kind of check-offs, make sure everybody else has checked them. The fire marshal, even though if it's a resident, they don't have jurisdiction, they still have to log into it, make sure it's residential, they don't have, and click it, hey, approved on our end or NA, we don't have any say. And so now we can see everything within just a few clicks. Versus having to go somewhere, find it, bring it back to our desk, get it returned.
So our records are gonna be a lot better, and I can honestly see little by little, you know, our rating actually going back even higher. Once we actually get all this compiled, like Matt said, it's just a matter of time with the history built up that goes along with it.
I understand, we're not going back to paperwork for Sam's house for 50+ years and then put all that in the system.
No,
We're starting from
we had it
today.
in.
From today.
We're just starting, as soon as we go digital, unfortunately, we're starting from there.
Did we become a part of the city in 1978 or something like that?
So,
Yeah, that's when they-
all right, please don't ask me to go look for your records. But, so, worst case, I mean, bad news is we went up to a 10, but once we get regraded, we should go back to where we were before 6. And then we'll work on getting even better than that.
So council, this is just for your information.
There's no money involved in our part of it.
No, sir. No, we could request a reevaluation since we did something that would affect what they gave us and we fixed it.
So you noted the last survey was done in 2014. The last one on record.
Yeah.
Prior to the September 27, 2022. What happened to that 4 to 5, 6 year period? We should have one around 2019.
I don't know. I can tell you when I got involved in this one is because requests were made by them to do this, but nothing was answered on the request. And it fell on deaf ears. It just didn't happen for whatever reason.
Okay, it didn't happen.
And I got involved with help correct everybody, get steered to the right direction and work as best as I could. Some things were getting done, but when I took over and then moved into my position full time, I said, where are we at on that? And it didn't really move past just a few things. So I got back on it, Paul, and we all worked
Yeah, all I know.
until the end to just get as much info we could. Got all of our inspectors back in, answering all the questions all over again, and kind of
So what prompted this one?
just the normal cycle. They had it done, so
They
people get reassigned.
Yeah, but I mean, that leads back to my original question, what happened in 2019?
We don't know. I don't know, sir.
So we don't know what the grading was back then?
No, it's stated, that's, I guess if you never answer them, they leave you at a 6.
I know that.
You don't know if you go worse or better,
Yeah.
but the good thing is we went to a 10, chances are you don't renew your insurance or get a new quote, nothing's gonna change for you, because we're gonna get it back to where you were before anyways, in the next hopefully month or two. As soon as his boss approves it, sends it to him, he emails me, I send him the approved ordinance on the codes we adopted. He fills out, everything stays the same except the code section, he fixes that, our points go back to a 6, we get the new letter.
Matt, do you have the breakdown of what percentage? I know it used to be a certain percentage of it is the fire department, a certain percentage is the water department.
That's
the
on the
water's-
fire code side, this is 100%
Building.
building code, building inspectors, how long you've had inspectors, the inspector's licenses.
So this,
It's a
they won't
multitude
be,
of things.
they won't be evaluating the fire side.
No, this is not the fire side, it's totally separate. So the fire side is, if it was fire side, I could help, I mean, I could really go do it and answer that one, but on this one, it's same company, I would assume same concept, but I'll work through go through each, so each one had a little item, it was like, I don't know, you could get up to half a point and we got 0.15, so I'll have to figure out how do we get back up to that full half a point so we can get a lower.
If you're familiar from years back, this is what they used to call the key rate. So if you're familiar with the word key right, that was what they used to do insurance before they changed to this.
So I can tell you on the fire department side, when I took over there, we were scored at a 9. I do work in there, we're down to a 4.
So,
Is it possibility of us getting lower than 6? You keep saying you get back to 6, can we get to 5?
We could get, it may take a few more years, or if we can look at this and say, hey, we fixed these items, I want to be reevaluated again in a year from now, then yeah, every time I think we can get a better rate, and it not just because it's 10 point, you get 10 points and it kicks you to the next one. 10. When I can see, or I think we've gotten below that threshold to get us to a 5 from a 6, I'll request a reevaluation. So we can request them, it's just they do them on a cycle every
so
quarter.
council, just so you know, if you want to get into the details, go into page 9 and start going down and go on the left-hand side, and it's on the side.
That's a lot.
It tells you every single thing. It's in green, and it tells you what they're looking for, the code, the adoption of the codes, the training, the staff, the different things that you're supposed to do. It's all listed out there. The monitoring portion of it too. So it's all in there. But the thing about it is, once again, we want to make sure the council's informed where we're at, what we're doing, and where we're going to go ahead and try to get us back to where we need to be, and then start building up the continuity that goes along with it, so we can get a higher rate. Okay. Anything else, council? All right, go ahead and move on to number C. Consider and act upon whether the city's plumbing inspection procedure should be revised to allow the scheduling of daily inspections.
I will let Paula touch on that one, because she was involved with that one, not me personally, and I can answer questions, and I believe the gentleman's here too.
So we have our building permits for plumbing. Our inspections are just set for one day of the whole week, which is Wednesday. So anybody that wants to come in and do an inspection for any other day of the week, they have to wait for the following week on Wednesday to be able to just have an inspection done. Now, if they want to do it, say Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, even Saturday, they will have to pay a fee of $109 to have the inspector come over and actually do the inspection.
So currently, we pay our inspector $190 to come out on Wednesdays, whether he does 0 inspections or 100 inspections. It's just a flat rate. That's what the contract was that when he was hired, long before us. But he only does it once a week because he comes from Charlotte. But he said, if you need one another day of the week, I'll come in if your contractor, is willing to pay the extra $190. And I believe in this situation that drove this, that was offered, but the contractor didn't want to pay the extra fee, so we had to wait till the following Wednesday with the instruction. And the contractor's here if you have any questions that want this item on the agenda.
Is it the same inspector or the?
Same inspector we've always had. They have to be a master plumber. There are companies that you can reach out to. I believe other cities like Divine, Castroville, they, instead of having an individual that does it, they reach out to a company.
Yes.
The problem is when you do that, that could drive up your costs because you're not just trying to support this guy, you're supporting the whole company.
Yes.
No issue moving that way. Because kind of like with our legal, right? If one is sick, someone else just fills in versus, hey, our guy's sick, he's on vacation, postpone it and you have to wait. So it's however the council wants to move forward. I mean,
So the one question I have is, how many are outside the Wednesdays that we have? Do they happen routinely, once in a while?
It would be once in a while. The only ones that I do get, a few of them that come in will be Saturday, when they're actually trying to close on a home sooner than what they expected. They'll come and say, I need a final done, and it could be on a Monday or a Saturday, and they want to get it done, so they'll pay for it.
I will tell the council as we move forward and the housing market picks up even more a year from now, and then we have all 3 of these subdivisions full blown going, it's probably gonna be more work than one inspector can handle anyways. At least even you might, for a couple, 2 years, keep an inspector full-time working with as many inspections need to be done. We bought all the new code books. We've explained to them, these are the new code books. When you're reviewing plans, it's not off of what you remember in your head, it's off of what that code book right there says. Please reference the code book when you're looking at stuff.
Sir, you have a comment? You have raised your hand.
Yes, hi, Council. I'm Bo Calloway. I own a plumbing business. The problem I have with coming Wednesday and everything, it was working fairly good at first. But what I'm getting into now is like, I'm getting, say Matt calls me, my sewer line's plugged up though. I need my sewer line fixed. I get over there, it's a wreck. I need to replace the whole thing. Matt, I'm sorry, it's Thursday. I can't do anything till Wednesday. I can't even file for a permit till Wednesday. He won't look at it till Wednesday. I have to draw him a diagram of what it's gonna look like, and then he approves it Wednesday. I can start the job Wednesday. And then to get inspected, either I pay another $167 or I wait till another Wednesday, which brings up liability. I have a ditch open. And people get sued in San Antonio every day. They have barricades up. They got cones up. But the guy had boxes in his hand. He wasn't paying attention. He slipped off. $15,000. Jeff Davis makes it possible. I don't want ditches left open. I have a lot of liability. And what I'm trying to get to is something like Veritas. That's the company you're thinking of. You go in and like say I come in, I pull a permit, I pay for that permit. I go do the job the next day, that day, I call for my inspection the next day. It gets done in 4 days, I'm done with that job. Now I'm old school. You never can go back to the same job twice and make money. It just doesn't happen. I don't care if it's one way or another. My job is common sense. 80% of it's common sense. And it only makes common sense. Y'all are gonna get bigger, much bigger. That one guy ain't gonna handle it. There's no way. So we don't mind. I'm one of many contractors. I don't know where they're at. I told them to show up today. One of many that doesn't want to do plumbing and Lytle because we're gonna lose money. We're not gonna make money. And Lytle, I grew up. I mean, I love Lytle. I take care of all my customers. So I bite the bullet. But I got a guy, my partner, saying, hey man, we're losing money on that. What do you want me to do? That's why I'm saying we really need to think about this. Is really common sense is all it is. You got one guy that comes in once a week, but you got to pay him extra to get there. I'd rather pay one time $250 to you and get my inspection done within 2 days. Customer's gonna like it. I'm gonna like it. And if they complain about the price of the permit, then they can go to another town and work. This needs to be addressed really quick.
So council, I'm sorry. The good news is whatever the cost would be from an inspector, third party guy, that just gets transferred on to the contractor, eventually onto the homeowner that's getting the permit anyway. So it's not, anything we do is not gonna be an added cost to us. It would just maybe require us to amend our permitting costs throughout the deal. So, however the council wants to move forward, I can seek out the company and get estimates on cost. It was hard to find a plumbing inspector. That's why we wound up with the gentleman, from what I recall, and y'all can help me. That's why we found out with the gentleman we did from as far away as Charlotte, because it's just hard to find those type of inspectors. That's why a lot of your other cities in our side that don't have full-time inspectors on staff use a third-party company.
here in a couple of years.
I thought part of the comment was that the requesting contractor refused to pay the fee.
Yeah, he didn't want to pay the extra fee. Yes.
So it's not a matter of being transferred over to the contractor, to whoever the last person has on with the pocketbook, that they're not willing to pay that fee.
Well, it could be a simple fact that he already gave the customer price.
Right.
Yeah.
And thinking that he's gonna get an inspection within a few days.
But working with the city as is, knowing that you're gonna have a job and you can only do it on Monday, and you need to get it inspected, you know that you're gonna have, not you personally,
Yeah.
but the contractor knows that they're gonna have $190 that can put that into the fee.
Well, the thing of it is you don't know when plumbing's gonna go, sorry, I ain't working.
No, I know that.
I can't schedule it, like say, oh, Monday, I'm gonna have a sewage stop up.
And that's another problem that we have, is this inspector willing to come on a moment's notice? Do they have the capability of doing that?
Yes, they do. Veritas does, yes, sir.
No, Veritas does, yeah.
Yes.
Veritas is a company. Our current inspector, I'm not sure he has that much, I don't know him personally, but I'm not sure he has that much flexibility. That's why he went to just Wednesdays. He's available, so if we called him tomorrow morning at 8, when could we, if we said we need one done today, would it be
He'll
here?
do it, he will do it, because I actually just saw him for one reason, I do.
Yes, sir, Jim.
The reason he only comes on Wednesdays, he had other towns that he was
He
inspecting.
must have told
You know,
me.
he do one
Oh,
on
from Tilden,
Tuesday.
I thought it was Charlotte. Tilden is pretty far off.
So that's why, but he he may be, I think he gave up Divine,
Mm-hmm.
so he may be more flexible if y'all talk to him, you know. You know, he may,
Because lately he has been coming whenever I ask him. He has been coming whenever I do ask him. So I do ask, like, I have a few that he was supposed to do this week. He came, yesterday, I think today to do one. He's coming again tomorrow. So, he'll be here.
So, Mayor, let me know if I'm talking out of turn here, but at one point, we were looking at restructuring our fees. I think this is something that we need to look at as part of our fee structure. If we need somebody on call, or we have to go to a third-party company, we need to put that into our fees, we need to put that in our structure. So, I mean, I know what the question is for today, but I think it all boils down to, we're not charging enough. And we need to relook at that.
Y'all are one of the cheapest around the area on your
And
permits.
I'd like to stay that way, makes it, you know.
Oh, I understand that.
This is with Lidle, but we also have to look at how much it's costing Lidle.
Well, if we go to the daily, that's gonna be a different conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to him, so the next time he's in, to say, what would you charge us if we had you were available every day to Lidle, we just called and scheduled it for you. Is that $190 every day, rain or shine? Or is it's only $190 if you come in
Right, for the full day.
for the full day, whether it's one inspection or not? He may, 'cause I know the other ones, it's $190 no matter what, correct? He gets $190 every week from us.
So for this year, we budgeted $101,000. We've already spent $72,000 of that in inspections for building and, for Mr. Martin and Mr. Smith.
We're gonna get busy.
Yeah.
And I've already had the conversation with our building inspector, because that's obviously plumbing's busy, don't get me wrong, but there's a few more building inspections that have to get done. And I've already had the conversation with him on, when we get busier, are you gonna be able to keep up, or do you have a second guy that can come in and assist you in this? And he told me he could get somebody else to come help him if needed.
Mr. Martin just, do it for Vital, or is it for Divine?
He does, that's how they do it for a multitude of cities, and that's how they, make it all work. But a lot of cities, I can tell you, it was, I believe, Divine, Castroville,
Honda.
Pearsall, Honda, they all gone to a third-party company. Again, it's better to have a group versus one person. The inspector says, I'm taking 2 weeks of vacation, I'm taking a week of vacation. We either call them and say, look, our guy's leaving, hurry up and get the job done and do it quicker and try not to make a mistake, or stall for 2 weeks. And with the housing market and everything coming, that's something we need to seriously consider, because they're gonna be super busy.
So Matt, what you need for today from the council is for us to go ahead and allow the scheduling of daily inspections, is that correct?
Jesse, this talks about, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. K.
Matt, what about, finding some options for us, right? Like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday option, Tuesday, Thursday, you know, going with the third party who has more than one, inspector available, because I mean, the workload is gonna increase, right, as the city grows. I don't think just, one day out of the week is gonna cut it moving forward. But at the same time, I mean, we're 23 miles, from the 7th largest city in the country. You're gonna tell me that all we can find is one guy out of Charlotte? You know, I find that very hard to believe, you know, as far as that being our only option. So perhaps, we do a little, shopping around to see what else is out there, you know, to not just give us the best deal, but give the residents and the businesses, the best, you know, inspector out there.
That's
So,
I'm sorry.
I just, yeah, I feel like, yeah, you know, some very good points have been made on this as far as, you know, just Wednesday cutting it. I think we probably need to expand that. But at the same time, I don't know if we're, you know, at a 7-day thing yet, or even a 5-day, but I think, you know, 2 or 3 days out of the week is better than one. I mean, I'm a simple man, you know, but I know 2 and 3 is better than one. So, you know, something along those lines, if we can get some options before we make a final decision on, you know, revising our, daily inspection schedule.
Okay, comment? Yes, sir.
Hey, Charles, on your, the statement there, The problem is we're not getting inspectors. Plumbers are not taking their inspector license being inspectors. We have a very good shortage in Texas. Texas is one of the few states that has one of the worst shortages of inspectors. We've got 3 state inspectors handling the whole state of Texas. As far as and we only have 1 head inspector that's in San Antonio. The next one's in Houston. The next one's in Dallas and Austin. So they're having a hard time finding the inspectors. Is probably the reason why they're not coming out. Somerset had the same problem about 6-7 years ago. And they kept bringing guys out there, but the thing of it was they were inspectors. They were just master plumbers. You've got to have an inspector license. And that's the deal.
So what I'm hearing, there's a job market then, right?
Yes, sir. That's what I said. I'm retiring here in a couple of years. I might be the next inspector.
And then the gentleman that does the plumbing inspection, he's giving up an age already.
Well, actually, so I will say this, and just to go ahead with the gentleman's comment about being availability, the average age of a master plumber, 68.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that's what we have out there. So there's a lot of opportunities to be able to get into that career field and be able to move up. But those are the challenges that we'll be dealing with. So
I'm 64. I got 4 more years.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to word a motion here, and Jesse, help me if I need some help here, okay? Mayor, I'd like to have the council direct the city administrator to pursue options and possibilities to find a third party or to work with our current inspector and come back to us with a plan and options at the next meeting.
Alderman Emmerich did say that the city would generally be required to do some type of solicitation, some type of request for qualifications anyway, so you may be able to abbreviate the process by maybe Mr. Cade's suggestion, perhaps soliciting for various,
Okay, then
so do, like a 3-day or a 2-day?
Sure.
Or a 5-day, so you get a variety of options, get those cost estimates in response to some type of city
Okay.
solicitation, and then you can perhaps then decide.
Then let me amend my motion a bit. Everything I just said, and please come back with what our lawyer said. And do you think next meeting would be quick enough, or should we?
Yes, sir. We have some.
Yeah, come just with your first hack on this by the next meeting.
And we want just plumbing or all inspection? Inspectors, this is plumbing. I
The item
don't
is
want to
just
see how we
talking
want
about
to move
plumbing.
forward.
That's all that's in here, so
Okay.
we can't go beyond that.
Want to make sure I'm-
Let's get plumbing straight, and then we can move on to the others. So
Okay.
give it your best shot. Get estimates to go with whatever you think is the best option, but give us some options and present it to us next meeting. So Paul, if you can abbreviate that down to common sense, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
But also in that equation is cost.
That's where the estimates we have.
Well, I understand the estimate to us, but I'm talking about the estimate to the requester.
Well, we'd have to get the estimates in, and then we can evaluate how much
Yeah.
we would do that, but let's get the estimates in. and then
Right.
we-
No, I
And then
understand that,
we'll
but I
work
just want to
on
make sure that
revising
we
our
are
pay
looking
schedule, right?
at the cost.
I'll work with
That's-
legal
that
on
is
what all we can
definitely-
put in the RFQ. I know when you do an engineer, you have to hire them off of their qualifications, not off of the Darien town.
So this is the first step to come up with some options, some numbers, and whatever.
I'll get as much data as legal says we can gather in the RFQ. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second for us to go ahead and allow the city administrator to proceed? You got a second, Sam? Okay. Any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to ask Lynette a question. You mentioned how much we'd spend out of the $110,000 or so. We're reimbursed through fees on that, is that right?
Yes, yes. So we have spent 117, and Paula has billed 83.
So here's,
So 73 to 83, we're not making a lot of money, but what I was trying to tell Michael a minute ago is remember, Matt and I are at the cusp of starting the new budget, and this is something that we are going to be addressing on these new fees now that we really have a true picture of how the city's running a little bit better.
well, we don't
Keep that in
collect
mind.
some,
Yes.
We will moving forward with any new phases of subdivisions coming in.
Right.
But all the current ones that we already had in the books that were in construction, we have a third-party inspector that comes in and does all the inspections for the city to ensure it was built to the city specs. We weren't recovering any of those costs for some reason. Moving forward, we will recover those costs as part of the engineering.
So we're.
That's where we're kind of
On
out.
a transition point right now. But we will eventually, if we get a new system in place with new rate scale in place, we'll come closer to recovering
All of it,
all of it.
anything that's not.
Yeah, so in the long run, is recover more and probably, like Mr. Bo said and Michael said, increasing our rates even more because we're
Sure.
so far
And
behind.
as I
in
understand,
comparison.
the gentleman said, he knows our rates are some of the lowest, and we've talked about this before.
Bo,
so
how
we
low
need
are
to-
we?
Y'all are about $70 to $80 lower.
I've heard,
So this is the first step, let's get
We're going
this first step done, and then
Yeah, we'll get there, right?
when we approve whatever you
Yes,
come up
I'll
with,
work
then
on
we'll
our-
go to rate schedule. yeah.
I'll work with Jesse starting tomorrow.
Good.
He'll have something typed up in 5 minutes.
Any other further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
As usual, you guys
There
are
you
awesome.
go. City? Okay, okay, we'll take care of it. Appreciate it, Matt. All right, let's go ahead and go to D, consider and act upon task order 23-02 with TRC Engineers in the amount of $1,500 for engineering services related to review of Mueller State preliminary.
So there is this came from TRC, I think, to Paul, right? So the Mueller property is over off 2790. It was once one big parcel. There was something that happened with the family and they built a house in the back, so they need to, I guess, subdivide it and get that recorded as 2 different parcels. And that's what this cost is. It's 100, we bill it out, our engineer bills us, we recover it before we release the final plat in full. So right now they're asking for 1,500 not to exceed. They think that's all it's gonna take.
Fiscal impact ultimately is zero.
It's, yeah, 1,500 initially, and then we get it back together.
I move that we approve it.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
Second that, Mayor.
Second, okay.
No notices need to go out or anything.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and move on, we're doing good. Let's go ahead and move on to our department reports, and we'll jump into A, Animal Control Director's report. Santi?
Oh, give me the chip. So-
Had a 76 calls for service in February, 2 surrenders, 1 animal bite, took in 4 dogs. February, and 12 right now, we have 35 dogs, 9 cats. 7 miscellaneous that's picking up dead. The animals on road or patrolling or calls for animals at large around the city. No transfers this month. It's taking any until this month.
Did you have something?
Well, not in February, but in March I do.
Oh, well,
This is February, yeah.
okay,
Always March.
okay,
Oh,
okay.
Had 6 hours, 6 volunteers, total of 11. 5. February, numbers are still the same through January. So if we have any adoptions or transfers in February? We do have 1 adoption so far in March. And we're gonna have 1 more transfers to this month. 106 pet owners came for food. 13 Atascosa, 5 Castroville, 1 in Irvine, Hondo 2, Moore 1, Italia 31, Cost 1, Lidle 23, Ochi, San Antonio, Somerset. That's And we got our truck in February, which you can see me driving around now in town.
I can't see you driving. I can see you driving on the street.
And still working on the decals for the trucks.
Santi, can you let the council know how it's helped you out with picking up food now?
Oh, yeah, the truck doesn't struggle to pull or doesn't squat very low to the ground. So which is good, because I was always worried driving on the highway with that, so, but yeah, it's doing it's a lot better.
We had to get him, rails so he could get in, so he couldn't get up.
So Santi drives a big long trailer that Public Works has and goes over and picks up food from the Humane Society, and they sometimes give us like 2 big loads, so we get a lot. But that, the regular truck, and it was a 6-cylinder, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so 6-cylinder, regular trucks, I imagine, yeah, it was always struggling, so this makes it, it's actually even more safer now to be able to
Yes.
drive. So, especially with the loads that we have, so.
And the old truck lasted us 12 years, 2010, right?
Yes.
I mean, we got our money out of that truck,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I've got you a booster seat coming.
We got the plates are on it, we got title, it came in today, so it's in our list for titled vehicles, we have title on all of our vehicles. And, we're trying to work with the sign graphics later, for the graphics.
right now, working on graphics.
She's behind a little bit, so if we can't get something quick, we may have to get something real small to put across the bottom, city of Lidle, and which all to meet the legal standards for having these plates, but we'll work on it.
Maybe we should just have some magnets that says City of Lidle, just have them generic.
Yeah, well, I thought about that too, just getting some done, but to have her doing what they, so I'll work with Chief, maybe we'll just get online and order some that we can just stick on, then with your graphics, let's take them off.
The law requires us
For any vehicle, right? Or for any vehicle in the future too.
Yeah, we'll have some temporary ones.
We picked that old truck up, Matt and I did, in December 2010, it was the day of the Fort Hood shooting. We came back from Dallas, and all the way from Dallas, federal guys and all kinds of response teams were responding past us. It was pretty wild. It's a very memorable. And we had Taco Cabana in Waco.
I was just gonna ask you, you remember where you stopped to eat at?
Look at your water.
I don't remember.
So, yeah, we can see, it's always about priorities, right, Richie? It's always about priorities. Coordination. Okay, council, anything for Santi?
General question, calls that come in during business hours or after hours that may go to voicemail, do they get documented or notated?
No, but I would call people back, and then it gets logged in as a call when I go out there.
That's what your call
Yes.
log is. Thank you.
But the calls that are coming in, the on-call, if it requires a response, y'all are responding.
Yes.
I
And
just
that's on the
wanted those to go
website,
to
right?
voicemail.
Your actual phone, the cell phone that you
Yes.
carry, it's on there. Okay. Okey-dokey. Anything else? All right, thanks, Santi, appreciate it. I'm feeling the love over here on this corner over here. Somebody might be walking in the rain here in the near future, so. There you go,
Have you seen
Sandra.
driving?
Come
Have
on.
you seen driving? He can barely see over the steering wheel someday.
We had a jump on that one.
Yeah, he was jumping in.
There you go, Sandra, library.
Let me make sure it's the right one. Oh, that's January.
It should be on the thumb drive.
Go on, Jan.
Yeah, I changed the colors on it.
Oh, where'd it go?
It's on the thumb drive, unless you're moving through this.
All right, ready? I'm waiting for you. There you go.
Okay, computer users for, February was 84, and the kids' computers is 82. They love those kids' computers. There's no internet on them, but they have all kinds of games, so they only have a 20-minute session, so you gotta take your turn. And February's, checkouts were 1,415. The Assembly E has grown again, 6 more users, so now it's, at 19 and 24 ones, so we're getting more and more, so. The library clerk staff, there was 11 new accounts, 29 renewals at April, May, 20 library clerks. We're still doing story time. It's actually growing much more. We've got 8 kids. We had 8 kids during the week of spring break and 11 last week. So we were like, wow. And then we had a lady that volunteered to do story time that day. So she's like, I'll do the story time. Oh, okay, go right ahead. So I gave her the book and this twice. And we're still working on the library section project.
show off on his website. These are the displays for February. Okay, so the Super Bowl, and then NASCAR, Weddings Month, Bubblegum Day, and Heart Health Month. The kids really liked the NASCAR. They wanted to take the cars down, but I glued them to the board. I'm like, no, you can't play with them. They're glued. And then we made this display for the weddings, and everybody kept touching the cake because they thought it was real. And the cake is actually just toilet paper tubes with some spackle and bake. And so they keep, I'm like, no, it's not real. And I think we have Black History Month, and then on Valentine's Day, rodeo, and last time, oh, it was groundhog. And so, like I said, working on the sections, and I finally finished off the donation for the.
Awesome.
It's just that. That's it. Do you have any questions?
No, but I will volunteer if you ever need a reader for story time. Give me a call, I'm close by, be there too.
It's a real good story.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I read well.
It's ages 2 to 5, so it's good. Sometimes their attention span is like.
I've had a few of those.
Over there.
I've had a few of them.
All good. Council, anything else for Cassandra? All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Super Skip, hook compliance, come on up.
Evening.
How are we doing, Skip?
We're here.
Good.
Thank you. I removed 10 advertisements or signs from city right of way and utility poles this past month. Checked 4 locations for tree removal. I proved it, trees were removed. Had 5 properties maintained, but that's gonna increase this coming month because things are growing. I checked, compliance at 9 permits. There was a new shop at, next to the donut shop, it's called the Bailey Brand. I required them to register and, obtain their certificate of occupancy and fire safety standards. They started business without doing that, and they didn't come in after the talk to. I addressed 20, placed at the right of way tours, brush this past month, and it's already started today. I came across 5 of them already out there from the late pickup that we had last week. In addition to that, I advised 5 locations to cut brush up that were really too long for the contractor to pick up, come down to smaller pieces to pick up, and I removed lumber from the brush that was out there at 4 locations. So I just picked it up, set it to the side, or picked it up and got rid of it. And I removed bulky waste and debris from 34 locations, and advised of the new removal schedule and of the roll-off scheduling for the next months ahead. That's basically it.
So Skip, what happens, because I noticed too before that you were talking about, in the sense of leaving the brush, they put it out after it even got picked up late. So what happens? I mean, do we?
What I want to do is I basically warn them, say don't let it happen in the future, don't do this in the future. And majority of people have listened to me and won't do that. I didn't have the opportunity to talk to a couple of them today to remind them that brush pickup starts the 3rd Monday of each month. And you can place it out there 10 days prior to that pickup day. That's what generally what I mentioned to them. If it's little bitty piles, I just say, and set it off to the side. You might have some more accumulate during the coming month. Then put it out there at such and such date. But generally, I just basically warn people. Now, if there's a repeat offender, I get a little heavier with it.
I think we have a repeat offender.
Yeah, I would break that one. Okay.
Yeah, get with me. Yeah. So if you're wanting to know, we need to take the steps that are appropriate, because it seems like you end up going back to those places every month.
I think James took care of one of them this past week that out on
Saturday.
State Highway, on this weekend, I guess.
Yeah, Saturday.
Over on the State Highway. But
Yeah. It's about helping them, but at the same time, you know, if you're talking to them and they're not really following the guidance you're providing, you need to take the appropriate steps.
Right.
So, that'll be good. Council?
Okay, and, I've been advised it's, Matt's gonna be giving, code compliance, my report or my, procedure in the coming months, so I will be here at meetings, but I probably will not be giving you my reports, Matt's leading in on that.
I'll brief council under my report. I will report.
That'll be good. That'll be good. Thanks, Skip, appreciate it. Thank you for what you do.
You're welcome.
All right, D, Public Works Director report, here you go.
Good evening, everyone. We did 107 work orders last month. 8 new meters, replaced 4 meters, replaced 1 service line, replaced 1 angle stop, and repaired 3 service line leaks. On the sewer, we had 3 on the customer side, and we had 1 main sewer stop. Miscellaneous, we did 31. Rereads for water, gas 34, finals 10. New customers 18. We didn't have a cutoff list, so we didn't turn anybody on. Miscellaneous work orders, we had 24. It's kind of a chart of what we did. Okay, on man hours, we did 680, installation 128, water maintenance 158. Sewer maintenance 34 hours. Sewer plant maintenance 120 hours, meter reading 64, rereads 36, and 8 hours of asphalt. Locates on man hours, we did 36 hours locates, 6 hours on mowing and shredding, burning brush 48, miscellaneous 32. Have a chart there. There's our water usage. We have 785 feet. We had to have a reduction of 49.68 acre feet. So that leaves us with 735.32 acre feet. And so far this year, I think we pumped 72.71 acre feet.
And that, is there any way you can just to remind us, that's calendar or fiscal year?
Calendar.
Calendar.
Year, I go January. Yeah. Fiscal year.
Okay.
There it is. We're at 35% now. We've been in it for 66 days, and it shows it there January the 1st till this was March the 7th. And we got a 6.33% reduction. And that's the chart. That's our 785 feet, and that's what we're authorized to use after a reduction, and that's what we use.
Right for running.
All right. Any questions?
Yes, once again, the rereads are roughly 50% of the actual fee.
That's for the whole month.
Yes, sir, but can you try and break that down to customer requested rereads?
I've asked him, listen, we don't do it. We have a guy that comes in volunteer, does this work. I talked to him after he put this one out, how to do that. So.
Because somebody's asking them to go to certain sites to reread, right?
No, sir. I'll write it all down. He copies mine.
Yes, sir, but that's what I'm getting at. You know whether it's the customer's requesting it or
right.
It's read incorrectly.
He's in.
Or questionable.
Yeah, it's questionable, yeah.
Yeah, so is there a way you can break that down?
That's what I asked him, two different categories.
So we'll have
Well, it could be the same category. That's fine. You get a total of 36, but just notation somewhere is that there's 10 customer rereads versus.
One for rereads for meter reading, and then there's rereads
Customer base. And that's what That's what I would like to see of those 36, we're talking about 50%
Yeah.
of the actual reads that were reread. If it was 65 and then 36, whatever the two numbers were. I would like to see how many of those were customer based. Because at some point, we're gonna be looking at, are we gonna start charging customers for?
So I actually have it,
So,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we actually have been keeping count, because every time that I have to send the guys out, it's a joke, they have to bring tacos in.
Okay.
So we do have that, we have the ones that the girls are saying this doesn't look right, let's send James out for a reread, and then we have customers.
If you can.
But I can give you that next time. But we are-
Majority is our rereads. Majority of the rereads are because of our meter reading.
Right, and I would
Yes.
like to see that too.
So I think, and just pull this from my head, I think we only had 8 that called in out of this. I need to go back and look at the taco count. Sorry. It's a count.
I never get tacos, Jamie.
You got I offered this morning.
So we're just getting a lot of good breakfasts around here.
Too much talk
We're
about
missing
food.
out on some. Yeah, let's just include them in there. It'll be
Yeah,
good.
I think
And
8
You'll talk to the
I
person.
think
who
8
helps
were
you out
ones
with
that
this.
Liza and Virginia felt concerned about that needed, that were extremely high, that we needed to look at.
Especially-
And the rest of them were in the books, written funny, and we had this in the paper.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
I'll break it out for you this next week.
Be good. Definitely take full send into that. All right. Anything else? All right, here we go, Richie.
No, I don't have to.
Make it up, Rich.
Last, month, I did 99% of the work. The other officer did
Okay,
1%.
now we know who's making it up.
How many tickets did you write last month?
Me?
Not about the ticket number, right, Chief? It's about just getting people to comply.
He's doing about 100 a weekend.
No,
I'll
not
tell you that.
me personally.
No, you don't write tickets.
Well,
That's
I
fine.
do, I've been on a break because I'm trying to save up.
Gordon writes about 100 tickets a weekend.
I don't pay no attention to that. Numbers, I'm not a statistician, if that's a word. Not a word, I don't know. Okay, so we ready there?
Yep.
Let me see, which one needs this one?
Right.
All right, call service 224. That's your alarms, your service call. 4 residential alarms, not many. I mean, you know, we've talked about alarm permit several years ago. We've got some stuff in place. The theory is that, you know, maybe we saw these housing developments coming, we want to get an alarm permit where people pay an annual fee to have an alarm that we respond to. If we respond to more than 2 or 3 times, then we charge them. I'll be honest with you, know, if we're just going out 4 times a month for residential, then, you know, I mean, I don't know if we want to get ahead of it a lot, but it's right now, it'd be kind of a lot more work administratively than it would be benefits. But, you know, it's just we can monitor it, that'd be, I'd say. Business checks, building checks, same type of stuff. 349 charges last month. Oh, what's the number one? We got speeding about 140, stop sign red light 47, driver's license 62, vehicle registration, seatbelt, a little bit of everything. You know, again, all you do is walk. I go walking with Casey and the kids, and people run the stop sign over by your house. I mean, there's people running stop signs, speeding pretty much all day long. It's just a matter, you've only got, and while we're talking about this, so the people that contact me about problems they're 99% of them are traffic related. Okay, they're not drug houses, they're not gang activity, it's not about youth crime, it's about none of that. 99% of either in person or email is all traffic related. That's it. I mean, you know, I don't know, that's just odd that, you know, normally people should call you about, you know, somebody selling dope but everything we get is traffic related. And if you drive around here, of course you live here, you realize there's a lot more traffic than there was 5 years ago, than there was 10 years ago, than there was 20 years ago. Thought that's kind of interesting, but that is the main issue we deal with. You know, we've got one speed trailer probably could have 4 or 5 of them, you know, collecting data and slowing people down all around town. I mean, you could keep that many of them busy. We just kind of have a list and get to people when we can. Racial profiling, I'm not gonna, that's, I'm not gonna go through too much of that. It's all, nothing of anything out of the way. The rest, same stuff, you know, warrants, marijuana, you know, fraud, trespassers, thefts, DWIs, drugs, same type of stuff, you know. Juveniles, so we did have 3 juveniles for, that was that deal at HEB where they filming those TikTok videos of, where one of the kids carries a gallon. Did y'all see that? Y'all gotta follow with the kids. So one kid carries a gallon of milk and he acts like he's slipping, and when he does, the milk falls over the store. Then a kid right behind him has one and he acts like he's slipping in that milk. And the third one did the same thing, but his milk jug didn't pop, it just bounced. And they videotaped this. Of course, meanwhile, you got 2 gallons of milk all over HEB floor. And they do it, and they get a lot of hits on these Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is. And then I guess people think that's cool, you know, I don't know. But that happened, and fortunately they record it, so you have evidence of who it is. It's kind of a weird deal, but that's what we had. That was our big juvenile crime. So we don't want to cry over spilled milk.
You waited all week for that.
Yeah, no, actually, I just came up with that. I'm real proud of myself.
I thought you had saved it for a few weeks.
I don't know.
You put it down, put your hand up?
No. Burglaries. Best Western, we had a vehicle burglary over there. And those come and go, you know, they're right on the interstate. A lot of work trucks, a lot of people leave a lot of valuables in their vehicle that I would never leave when I travel. I'm not gonna leave firearms in my vehicle. I'm not gonna leave laptops in my vehicle. And you still see, with everything going on, people still leaving that type of stuff in their vehicles. Those others are many warehouse thefts. That place, that is the old NC self-storage that just changed hands. We had a variety, probably all occurred at the same time, you see, but people don't, many times people don't actually know about that until they go check their unit. And sometimes people, they don't check it for a year because a guy will break in. I won't give crime tips here, but a person will break in and replace the lock with their own, so you don't think it's even been broke into. So, and then Stripes, they took a bunch of advertising monitors out of Stripes. That's much like the TV there. If you go in there, it's very nice. They have all these screens where you can see the different, there's 2 different restaurant food places, so they each have menu boards. So somebody came in there and took them all down. And that's not something that happened in the middle. That's probably something just happened. Construction people there act like they work there and just took them. Criminal mischief, let's see. Broken window, attempted catalytic converter theft, the apartment door kicked in, car was keyed, broken car window, kind of real minor stuff. Some of that probably has a little more of a story to it. Theft, John Engine, those are all theft. John Small Engine, which I don't know if it has the same name or not. That was a Troy-built mower that he reported stolen, but then was found, so it wasn't stolen, I guess. I don't know. Shoplifting over there at HEB, and then Exxon Superstop. Found property. That gun we found on the side of the road over there by the school, that last one there. What did we do? Department head meeting, that's when I was on vacation. A lot of escorts, because, you know, we had the girls basketball team, we had the film team, we had the high school boys basketball team, we had the girls we did a lot of escorts. We should open escort service. We had TCO instructor school. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe come out right. Okay, so training, I sent a couple guys to instructor school. Sent a couple guys to instructor school.
Last time it was about a calendar. From a calendar to escort, so.
Well, somebody told me, y'all are really good at doing that.
We need some more attorneys.
So anyway, then we had another boys team, and so we've had a lot of stuff going on. Fireworks stuff. Western Brands, we had fire inspection, less aesthetics, minor violations. Now, this month, we've already done a whole lot of stuff, with fire marshal stuff. Last month, but this month, we've got a lot going on. We are still trying to get the final on the stripes. We've done a lot of various businesses and different things. And then again, so this permit deal, which is really pretty cool, it's all online, and I log on, and then I can go to the status on there, and then I go down to my tab, and I can see what I need to do. And if I need to look at what's been submitted, if it's something that affects fire marshal's office, I can look on there and see the forms and pull up the PDFs. It's really very, very interesting. And then if it's something like a home, so I put solar panels on our house, well, I can go in there and put in there, NA doesn't apply to, fire marshal or something. It's really pretty cool system. Criminal cases, not a whole lot. Seems like maybe we took a lot this month. I know we go there every Friday. 2 to the county and 1 to the state, one Medina County, 2 charges, nothing to Bear County. Vacation, what we got going? So their last one was 222. We had 116 vacation, 116 overtime, 80 vacation, 10 sick, no other hours. But we've got
At least they did it fancy.
quite a bit of, we've got a lot of people taking vacation on and off, so we'll see a little more of that. And then our administrative lady, she's been on vacation in California, but she should be back pretty soon. She had 30 and a half hours last month. Hers down on 2 people now. Waiting on new vehicles still. I think I updated y'all. I doubt it. We will probably get one in July, June or July. If we're lucky. The other may be as far as October, November. There's, the ones we ordered last October or last November. So that's what we're working on there. Application. So we took application for 3 weeks. We worked and got a substantial increase in the starting pay, and we ended up with 2 applicants out of that pool. So we did have 2 prior applicants for reserve positions that were recent. So we got a total of probably 4 applicants that we're looking at. I have hopes that we hopefully can fill those 2 positions. A little early to say I'm going to be able to fill both of them, but that's the plan.
When are you thinking of filling them?
As soon as I can get them. I've got we just closed last Tuesday. So yeah. So we've got now I've just got some final. I'm making appointments to go. I've got to either visit in person, so I've got to make appointments. I'll make some appointments this week to visit with prior employers that I have to. There's certain things I have to do to check off before I can even get, like call personal references and those things. I mean, hopefully, I could possibly, if we have one that's a little ahead of the game, he's already had the polygraph, we could probably have him on by the 1st of May, I'm hoping. If everything falls in place. The other one might be close to that time, might be a week or so behind. Depends on availability with psychological and then a polygraph. So we're doing, if we had like 15 or 20 applicants, it could take 60 days, 90 days. Because we do so much background work, but I think on this matter, we can kind of fast track them.
Yeah, that would be good, because we've been down 2 officers since
Frank left in December. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So filling those 2 positions, it's at 100%?
Yes. Yeah, and those aren't new positions, those are just positions that were vacated when Matt left and when Frank retired. So, yeah, so that's really, they're not new, so they're not even, and which is a good thing when you're hiring people, because it's not a turnover issue. It's a retiree and one promoted to City Hall. But the problem is there's just very little applicants. The applicant pool, Jordan, I think is down, they got 10 officers, I think he's down 3. A lot of departments are down, they're down at 60, 70% of their officers right now. Or they're constantly fighting to fill their position. So yeah, we're doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy because I think we're gonna, I think we're gonna be, I was really afraid we might not get anything.
But you got them, so get them in.
We're working on it. It's just, hiring policemen is entirely different than any other position you've got in the city. I mean, there's just, the state mandates so much, that I'm personally liable for if we don't, go through these particular steps. So I think we're in good shape. I think we're moving good. I think we're ahead of the game right now with where we are, so we'll be, hopefully, yes.
This weekend's music fest, you brought in contractors?
Oh, yes, and we're gonna pretty much have to do that always when we have special events, What we did in the past, many years past, is we would pull everybody we had to work those events.
Right.
And the problem is then you don't have anybody on the street. So, we're to the point where 15 years ago, we could do that. Now, there's too much out there. We can't pull everybody in to work the festivals. We've got to have, so the 4th of July, we brought people in, and then, this thing, we brought in three outside people? Frank and, yeah, three, we brought in three. Because I had a couple people that would have been there, but then they had prior plans to be gone somewhere. So, that's where we go. Any questions?
Thanks. Council, anything? No? Richie, thank you
Yep,
so
yep,
much,
yep.
appreciate it. Let's see, it is 8 o'clock right now. So we usually take a break right now. Let's go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break. Come on back and we'll go ahead and finish it up, okay?
Friday night. I was out of town. I see.
Who else?
Two
They
hours.
want some assistance with the shops too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She would be great.
I was just expecting some of those on her, there's not pictures, just the-
Right, she does. She's been doing nails and pedicures for 20
Okay,
something years.
this
That's her
item
full time.
show, all it shows back at 8:11. Do that. Let's go ahead and continue on. And we're gonna jump right into F, finance director's report. Lynette?
Okay,
All
just real
yours.
quick, because there's stuff that's gonna be combined because we have the financial report at the bottom too. So this is just gonna be a short view, okay? And then Matt and I will kind of both do number 10, all right? So, the audit, that's the first thing I want to touch on. The audit will be presented on the next council meeting. We have our review on Wednesday, so she'll be here and we'll get that taken care of. So everything looks good, but she'll go over that with you when you get there. I put a list in front of you from the festival, and it shows the profit and loss of what the chamber made. So remember, we did do a $15,000 investment, I guess we could call it, out of the hot tax money that went towards the festival. And this is kind of how our money came back to us a little bit. And that $6,000 that we booked as a profit will go back to the chamber to use for future events.
That was a great event. I'll talk about it a little bit
Okay,
more, but
yeah.
I think
But
worked
we,
out really good.
well, I mean, I know there was a lot of question of saying, you know, can we do this again? Is it gonna be worth it? You know, and I remember when we were talking about getting money over there, everybody was concerned if it was a good, quote unquote, investment. But we did, the whole chamber did well. So, and the city did well. So.
A lot of kudos.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Another thing that has come in, last year I filed for the opiate abatement program. So the city of Lytle will get 4 payments of $2,267 a year. That we got our first payment a month ago, so 3 weeks ago-ish. So I went ahead and booked that. That is a dedicated fund, which when I looked up everything on the rules of what we can spend it on, it has to go to something to do with either first responders or some kind of control of the opiate problem. So Matt and I kind of talked about it, and I think what we were gonna push to do is put Narcan in.
Well, we were, I can get Narcan for free, so we're gonna figure out how we're gonna spend that money.
Never mind.
I've got an option for Narcan for free.
There's a nice little paragraph that gives you options of different.
We're gonna look at this one.
Yeah, so,
You can use
yeah,
it.
there's all different stuff, but you can go to the police officers, anything to help with the opiate problem. So, but it's good that we're getting, even if it's a little bit of money, some money. Our fines with the police, and court have really come up. I am already over budget. We budgeted $308,000. We have booked in $311,000, and we're only half a year. So kudos to the court girls. The clerks have been doing super. Having another person in there, being able to collect on warrants. I helped in court all day Thursday. I think we cleared close to $7,000, and most of them were big warrants. Most of that money was people coming in trying to clear their problems, get their driver's license and stuff like that. So that's helped a lot. But I can't tell you how hard those girls are working clearing that out. And of course, we are getting more tickets. On average, Richie's guys are running about 100 a weekend. Let's see. So I'm expecting about 300,000 surplus at the end of the year on that account. Court training actually goes in May. We'll have our first license, or was it registered licensed certified court clerk. She goes for a 4-day course in May, and then she takes her test. It'll be in Corpus. Let's see. Oh, the new credit card machines. Remember that we had talked about a year ago? There are new credit card machines in. We've been through 2 cycles now. And with these new credit card machines, I'm seeing when I'm looking the cost that we're actually saving about $400 to $500 in fees. So our fees have gone down, depending on where they're. Court can be a little bit more online. It's different amounts, but I'm real happy with what I'm seeing. In the summer, I will be gone for 4 days for a GOFA. It's a tax seminar. I'm actually going with the auditors. I'll be gone for a couple of days there to update on the new tax rolls and some government training stuff that we're all going to. May is coming around the corner. Jesse cornered Matt and I today and pretty much scolded us about making sure we have our stuff done. So, it scolded me. So, just to keep that in mind, we're gonna start doing that here shortly, to make sure we get our deadlines set.
For next year's budget, already starting the process.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start, so. We will have some mild budget amendments coming in. Matt and I were talking about them today. We met for about an hour on some stuff, but we'll address that shortly. And then I wanted to say, Michael, on the rereads, can you hear me? I'm sorry. On the rereads, I do want to tell you that, remember you were saying, we're gonna have to charge more? Virginia has been already telling the people that call and like warning them, saying, hey, we can do this now, but just remember, in the future, we're probably gonna start charging. So we're prepping people for that slowly, because a lot of the rereads are a lot of older residents, and we just wanted, kind of approach it lightly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we did receive a $26,000 refund on the federal tax audit on that stuff that I had went back on the 2 years and did internal audit on and found some errors. I turned it back into the IRS, and we did get a refund on that finally. And I did book that in the miscellaneous account. Let's see, Rosario is, she belongs to Paula, but Paula has shared her with me. She's taken on half the AP, which has allowed me to get caught up a whole lot more. Thank you, Paula, for that. And I want to tell everybody that Diane has definitely said that she will be retiring in October. So we will be needing a new court clerk, and it's something we can keep in the back of that.
We'll definitely start thinking about how much time overlap and then move backwards so we can hire and have the overlap, if you feel that it's necessary. We're gonna have a
I cannot
surplus.
see court running without 2 people. We're changing a bunch of stuff. Matt came up with, had met with Tyler on a grading program, and it will help a lot, but I still see that just being a 2-person. I'm in there a ton, I'm hands-on with them a lot, I just can't see it being a 1 person.
I will tell you from feedback, even though you would think from our residents or people that are stopping by because they got ticketed or something like that, even though you would think it would be negative, some of these folks that usually come around, they get stopped over, they've actually come back and just said that it's a lot more efficient process of how we're doing things. It's a lot quicker, a lot simpler, and things are being taken care of. So kudos on those that need to come through the process and just making sure that we take care of them. So that's worked out really good, so thank you.
And we're clearing a lot of them out. And I'm happy we've got some of the bigger warrant issues we have in there, we're having taken care of. We had some with some very high amounts, and we have worked with them, and Judge Elise has worked with them, and we were getting them down.
Awesome. Anything else for the financial directors?
Not on that
before you
part.
do?
Yeah.
You're gonna wait until yours to do it together, or are you guys gonna talk about the 6-month period?
That's coming up later in the
Okay.
after department report.
Got it.
Do you want to do it now?
So.
That's later in the agenda.
We'll just go ahead and, we'll just follow on there. Okay, council, anything for Lynette? All right, let's go ahead and go into city secretary's report.
Hello.
Hola.
Okay, we have 14 permits out in full for the month of February. New constructions, there were 2 remodels, one was solar panel, one was signs. The sign, I think, is the new stuff that's gonna be coming up. entrance, Main Street. That's what I saw on that, I guess, that's what I read on it, so I wasn't sure, I didn't see that one before,
I don't know what
yeah,
that
it was
is.
like a monumental sign. That's what I saw there, so I don't know who's.
I haven't seen that. I'll look at it tomorrow. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
Who submitted it?
I don't know, I saw that one today when I was going through my stuff, and I saw that was a monumental sign. So I just put it there, so I don't know who it was.
Where would that be?
Is that monumental, I don't know if it's for us, for the city, or something else?
Not the city. We'll look at it tomorrow. I'll look at it tomorrow, find out what it is.
Shipping containers were two, fence, was one, or the seagulls, one. There was two concrete slabs that were, taken out. The sewer line lift station was one, and a commercial indoor improvement one. And that was the generator that was installed. Going to inspections for building. That's a lot of the, Freeport was my biggest one. We have 5 new homes that are coming in on Saddle Ridge, and most of the inspections are gonna be for Saddle Ridge. We do have a demo, and a solar panel and 2 slabs. 39 questions for, plumbing. 1 gas, 12 broken, pantry number 3, sewer 10, water 10, and a final, 3 final scores for our rush Coleman. We have collected this month $13,180.27 for the ad valorem taxes. Nothing on living taxes, $1,080 interest, nothing on the attorney cost, and only $60.39 on reimbursement penalty. I am getting ready to be closing out our taxes, I'm closing out the reimbursements, so I can have all that ready to be put into the county, hopefully no more,
Adjustments?
adjustments. I hope so, that's pretty much it.
Have you had, going back, I noticed on there with permits for the solar panels, have you had some of these folks stop by and get solicitation permits? Because anybody who's gonna solicit, they gotta get a.
Yeah, they're gonna go door to door
We gotta go
solicit.
here, so to go here, but we have not, these people are the ones that are coming.
Richie,
in.
we probably need to put something out and I can do the same.
Well, I just issued a permit to a guy doing that. I mean, I approved one, not too long ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we getting people going door to door? Because I'm pretty much, we normally, we encourage.
And I haven't had a chance to talk to this one individual, but we had 2 individuals this weekend that got harassed by solar panel people.
Yeah. Those people have got, and I normally put it out, but I'll try to put them out. The residents, when they don't call us, the only reason I catch them is because normally they come through my neighborhood, you know, and then that's how I catch them. That's the deal with the residents. I mean, if they're not, they need to call the police so we can figure out who these people are. That's the problem.
So you're the one who issues them? the
No,
solicitation?
but they were,
Sign off with them.
I sign off on to make sure they're legitimate companies and what
They
have you.
come here and then you coordinate with.
They send me something, yes, sir.
And I always sign off with those too, but I haven't seen anybody come in to do any of those. Most of the people that we got through the, solar panels were people that already requested to get done. So,
Yeah, most of solar, I get a lot of solicitations on the phone all the time for solar stuff.
No, these guys are walking door to door inside our city limits. And it's in different parts of the city.
Yeah.
I just need to encourage residents to call the police.
Yeah, that's the deal. I mean, it doesn't do them any good. You know, there people come to me and tell me something a week later. I mean, it doesn't mean good to tell me because by then the people are gone. But we catch them if we can catch them.
Yeah. I was just wondering, since it happened over the weekend, we were all busy with the festival and stuff.
Now, there was the company, I can't remember the name of the company that has one, but I can't remember what it is. Something energy.
Thank you for all the work. Appreciate it. Please thank Rosario too.
I'll get my report out to everybody in the morning. I think a chance today. Let's go. Just like started off from the end there. Hold on. Alright. It's moving me to the end every time. Well, we're just gonna cover through it, and if I forget a slide, you'll see it tomorrow, I guess. Beginning April of 2023, so next month, what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust the department head reports so they don't all get stacked on this second meeting and just take sometimes forever. So I've already talked to all the department heads. The first meeting, you'll have the animal control, the library, public works, and the police department doing their police report, their reports. So that'll be good, fresh information, because everything you're getting tonight is really about a month and a half old. Second meeting, you'll have finance, city secretary, and the city administrator's report. Since code compliance and the parks are under, city administrator, I just told Skip to email me his information and I'll include the code compliance report as part of my report to council. That way you just keep the ball rolling on that. That's a breakdown on how we spent the 8.5 million. Again, out of the 1 million in streets and sidewalks, 383,710 was already spent to TxDOT for that. We have a meeting, well, I met with our engineers and them today, so in case there's any utility conflicts on what the joint bid process would be, how to work through that, our engineers know, and we should know soon if there are any conflicts. We're hoping they're not. They did tell me today they do their best to, if they have to, kind of jog the sidewalk a little bit to get around maybe things, but realistically, our utilities, and talking with Kimberly Horn, who put this project together, all of our utilities should be low enough. We may have utilities that are under the sidewalk, but they should be low enough that they don't conflict with the construction. If there is a leak, we'll have to cut out sidewalk and put it back in. 616,290 remaining for streets. Out of that, the engineering cost is 21,365. That's already been approved by council. So that leaves $594,925 available for streets. We have got the bid specs in. The mayor and I are going to review those prior to having the engineers put them out for bid. 7.5 million for water and sewer. The anticipated expense, we got the 1.4 million, which council's already approved. Then we have that leaves a 6.1 left for the water system improvements. 771,147 has been approved. We're pending the executed agreement. Again, like I said, we're just waiting for legal to get us those kind of things left. That leaves 5.3 million and some change left for those 3 water projects we're talking about. Planning and zoning, that's what we have there. A lot of mobile home park. I spoke with the developer today, along with their engineers, on that and several other projects. So we're going to schedule a meeting soon, Mayor, where we get the city, our city engineers, all of their people. We're probably going to invite legal because I think they're going to have, one of these developers going to have his legal representation possibly, so I want to make sure we have ours. TxDOT, right now we're going a bunch of different directions with email threads. We need to bring everybody together and let's figure out this project and let's move to this one. With Saddle Ridge, there's a possibility it may now involve the county on some things they want to do. So we're going to invite the county to on maybe another access road into another bunch of things moving. So we're going to get all the team players together because we seem to be spinning the wheel and not getting anything done. So let's get them all together. Cromer, we're still working on that food shop place there. Saddle Ridge, again, this breaks down the phases, 2 of 6. 69 homes planned in phase 1. They've got 64 homes completed. I think the ones that aren't completed are probably going to stay that way for a while, just because of their sheer location, how they have offices set up. Phase 2 is 72 homes. If you go out there and look, they've got 17 of them already under some form of construction, and they're coming in still pulling permits to keep that ball rolling. I think the last I heard is they actually came in and said, hey, what if we just came in and bought them all for one whole street at one time, right? One whole block. That way we're ahead of the game. We just learned that block out. So we're moving pretty quick over there. 2 and 5 and 2 and 5, they got the road work is completed. They're waiting CPS completion. So you can see the road. That's 2 and 5. So that's pretty big subdivision already rocking and rolling there. Rosewood Estates, 1 of 3 is under construction. They're installing the storm water still. They're working on utilities, hopefully start soon. Lytle Farms, phase 1 plat has been approved. We're pending the PID review. We sent everything over to legal. Legal's going to help us find that third-party contractor to review the financials. Once we agree the financials are in place, then we move on to the public hearing and stuff like that. Open projects, the street light on Main Street. I can reach out to CPS to see where we are on that. I know it's all staked and it's just in their queue waiting to go. We're still working with the Public Works. We got, a little behind and we have some special projects come up. So we're going to work on getting these other items fixed and caught up there. Drainage, Adams Street, we'll figure out with the engineers to get some updated costs on that since we can't do it in the CDBG project and figure out how we can fund that and move forward. I had some other questions on maybe some better ways to do it. They're going to look at that. Kimmy Horn is going to perform that master drainage study. We're already working with them on doing some things, and if their aerial stuff is going to be good enough, or if we're going to have to do something with a third-party contract to get better aerial photography for the city. Hope we don't have to, but good news is if we do, we always have that for future things if we need it anyways.
I have a question about that one.
Yes, sir.
And then it goes, James, have we gone up to that, I know you've been busy, but that one, the first lake into Lake Shore Estates? And look at that, you know, we have the drainage, whether it's plugged up or not. I mean, the water's so low, you could literally look in there.
Yeah.
Have we taken a look in there?
No,
No?
I was looking at how that drainage comes where it turns. Looks like there's an opening underneath the road again.
So the biggest issue I understood out there is we have, when they constructed, large drainage, and it goes all the way up, but then the old drainage, and it narrowed way back down. And that may be where some of our issues are, where we went from large and they, to save cost, probably said, oh, never mind, just go back to narrow and tie into that that's already there. And that's probably where we're getting bottlenecks, we're getting debris, stuff like that, because it's flowing all the
I'm
way
just saying,
through.
if we wanna take a look at it, this is the best time to do it, is that, the water in those lakes is so low. If you
If
need,
nothing else, I can help James out and run out there and
just take a look
in
at
there
it.
and see if we can.
We need, how do we get in there on that part there? Gotta go across the spillway and come
You
in?
can come around, you can come around to be able to, through the lake, yeah.
Cause that's on private property.
No,
That's all private
well, no, you can
property.
go through the lake and you come on the backside
Okay.
along four
It's an
sixty-three.
HOA property.
Yeah.
I'll call and get the code out.
So
Code is
we
okay.
can get you that, so you can come along the other side and then you just walk it over here. But
I'll help out, James. I can run out there,
think it's the
James, or
lowest
maybe you and I can run out there and look one day and keep the guys. They got a lot of projects I need to try to keep.
But just so you kind of have an understanding of that area, since you're gonna be looking at this, is the best time to kind of get a visual.
Okay. We can work on it. McCoy Lane Water Extension, they're working on that. We hope if it all goes well, we get that completed this week, right, James? That's what we're shooting for. We're at the last, the home stretch, the last few feet, but it got real narrow with all the other utilities in there, so they're working on that. We still gotta work on that pedestrian street, water, we thought we had it fixed, and another one popped up there. The road warring, we're pinning the permits. It seems, talking to Robbie, every time he gets text out everything they needed and what they needed last time to get them approved, they said, oh, wait, now we want this. And he answers that, oh, now we want this. So he's answering, so we just caught some red tape now. So we're trying to push through. I may have to reach out, I don't know if Kristen's over that division in Pleasanton or not, but we may have to reach out and figure out how we can get some help.
She does, but yeah.
So just, because we've got, those people have been waiting. I just got a pretty good showing from my owner not too long ago. They've been waiting 8 months. They've already paid all their fees and they're like, what's going on? So we need to really work on that. And then that unmetered fire hydrant. I just need to work, I'll work with Jesse on getting a letter drafted to them on how we need to move with that. We're gonna take it from their house and we're actually gonna be able to move it out to where this new McCoy Lane is. So they're not gonna lose a fire hydrant. So it'll be close to their house. For ISO fire ratings, there's not gonna be a private one at their house that we can't see from the road. All the city contracts, I just don't know, so we've got it every month there. All the miscellaneous meetings and stuff like that, we worked and attended throughout the month. Make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I think that's good. I don't know why I jumped like that. That's weird. Any questions on the department head reports, how we're gonna split that up, or we're hoping that by splitting them up, we can speed both meetings up.
I know Richie's got theirs, so he normally has his, so Cassandra and Santi. So we'll be listening to you next meeting.
Yeah, no, 2 weeks. But the good news is, I think sometimes, like me, right, I know I've got to see a worst case scenario today to finish my report, so sometimes you just kick the can a little bit. I'll give PD and James, their guys are always emailing the report first of the month.
Be good. Be good.
I got one question for you, Matt.
Yes, sir.
You talked about, the expenditures on the certificates obligation. Where is the first payment from that certificate obligation? Where is that money coming out of?
I'll let Lynette speak. General fund.
It already came
Okay.
out.
And it already came out.
Yeah, 'cause I seem to recall that, when we previously discussed it, it was coming out of that CO. So I'm just making sure that it goes out to 8.5.
We can't, Lynette, we can't pay the bond based off of proceeds from the bond, I guess. She's gonna cover all
Yeah,
her section with her financial report.
Yeah, okay, I mean, we can talk about this more later, but adding up all the stuff you listed earlier, we're at that 8.5. So,
I'll go do it. Let's
All right.
go tomorrow and work on it.
yeah,
All right, anything else? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to number 9, executive session called pursuant to the Texas Government Code 551, subchapter D, section 551.071, consultation with the attorney, and 551.074, personal matters to discuss or consider the following items. Jesse, do we have anything for the council?
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Okay, nothing on there. Go ahead and take care of that. Thank you so much. Okay, and let's go ahead and jump into our last section. This is on informational items. Before we open it up for everybody, we do have one already listed on there, a update of mid-year financial report. So Lynette and Matt. Lynette?
No, this, I saw this an hour ago. This is you.
Go.
Here we go. Lynette, here we go.
It's Lynette.
Let's go, Lynette. So one of the things while she's taking care of the stuff, council, what we promised that we would actually do is take the time in the midway point of our fiscal year and bring the council up to speed on how we're looking in the big picture. So we're not gonna get into the weeds, but this is big picture in the different departments and the different sections of our cash flow to see how we're actually doing, so.
Okay, so if you look at the first sheet I put on the liquid assets, I gave you a whole list of what we have in the bank.
So this is, just to make sure, we're talking about this sheet.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So overall, that is 11.6 million that we still have in the bank. Your cash assets in the front there, you've got your money marketing, broken up separate, and you have your CDs. Your money marketing and your CDs are all interest-bearing accounts. Do you have any questions on any of that?
so 11 million.
And liquid assets, not total assets.
Yep. Got it. Okay.
I have one question on that. As far as those COs are concerned, do we have time on it? We got to spend that money by?
Excuse, one more time, you're cutting out.
In regards to the certificates obligations that were issued last September, is there a deadline when we must spend that money by?
No, I mean, we've got a 4-year on it, but when I had turned it back into Andrew, I told him it would be completely expensed within 2 years or less. Because this was projects that we were gonna move on immediately. Does that answer your question anymore?
I'm just making sure that there's not a deadline.
No, nothing like that. All right, so the budget report. This report, I'm gonna say is about 90% correct. There's still some tweaking that Matt and I need to do on this, but overall, I'm happy with the numbers that are being reported. I thought Paula was gonna jump a little bit more on her stuff, but if you can see in your front on the general fund there, we're actually doing really well when it comes into all the numbers that we're bringing in. So taxes, Paula has kicked butt on, okay? We're at 13% almost full. We've got another 100,000 to go. She was a little concerned because she said we're getting slow, but I think, we're gonna have some trails in that come in, like we did last year.
So we're in the general fund, we basically are right in where we're supposed to be, at 50%?
Yeah, I mean, we're at 50% where we need to be, and
Awesome.
we're a little bit low on certain things that we had budgeted in, but we kind of were guessing at that because the last year's budget. I want y'all to keep in mind with this budget, we were trying to format a real budget. So stuff that I had before, numbers were just kind of plugged everywhere. So I had said it with Matt, I had said it with Richie, and we were just trying to figure out exactly what we need to do. But we knew it would take a year to 2 years to be able to really make what I consider a real budget that we had something to go on.
And have continuity.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So that was on the revenue and the expense portion of it.
Yes, sir. You want to jump in the rest of it, or do you have any questions about the 100 fund? Anybody? I know it's a lot to go through, it's a lot of line items.
Yeah, just big picture, so we
Yeah,
kind of get the idea.
okay, I know how detailed you want me to get. Okay, the library fund is doing doing good, on her budget that which she had come in at. She's getting a lot of donations, which Cassandra should be happy of. She did ask me for this information at 4:49 today, but I was not able to get this to her, but she did want to report this for y'all, but I was with Matt most of the afternoon. So,
So am I reading this right on the revenue at 20%?
on hers,
20% left to collect, right? We
Correct,
budgeted 5250 and so far we've brought in 4193.
so she's doing very well.
Okay.
On her expenses, she's right at where she needs to be at 57%. So she's watching that budget real close.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay, animal control, he's at 33% left at 60, he budgeted 6,100 to come in. We still, he's been doing really good. I mean, we have donations coming in for animal control a lot more than we did before. So we're booking anywhere between, how much per month, Santi? Probably about anywhere between 300 to 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing really well with that, not including all the donations that are coming in.
Is Hey Charles, are you still there?
Yep, I think he got off. If he's not, I don't see him. We're the only one in the meeting there.
Okay, can you go ahead and annotate that on it? Okay, so animal control, okay, good on the revenue?
And the revenue part, he's doing really well. He's under budget. He's still at 57% of his budget. We did, of course, go a little bit over on some of the line items, like the truck and such, but we're taking it out in this living expense, and I'll make some adjustments later. He needs that booster seat. So, and the second part, the 300 on my debt service fund, you'll see that the payments up there are 585,000. Those were our bond payments that were made in January for our agreement. The interest payments for the bond won't be due until July. But we're up to date, everything is good with the bond. The 600 fund is our water fund. We have to, when you look at that 93%, you have to be careful with that because that's also included in that 6 million that we have in there. I shall know on our capital budget, we're still working on getting all those numbers in. So I have not booked any income or out any expense or income on that because it will kind of skew the numbers. So kind of take out that 6 million on there.
And as well as the 3A that we already get
Yes.
ARPA funds.
Yeah, on the ARPA funds. But if you look at each single line item, James is doing decent on that. Now, we knew that we were gonna have a little problem after the, you wanna hit on that a little bit, with the tapping impacts?
So when we built this budget, we built it off developers and what they told us they were gonna do. And then built it just a hair down from that. Unfortunately, the housing market didn't go off like they thought and we had the hiccup. So you're gonna see some changes as far as, we're not gonna bring in as much probably in some of the impact fees, tapping fees, and water acquisition fees, which may change the amount of money that we transfer into those dedicated funds and how much gets transferred back to the general fund to help backfeed that and fill it. The good news is the fact that the court's it's already done what we thought it was gonna do for the whole year, so we still got half a year to go. We got some other items, the water sales are doing good, so we may see some small ticks there, but I think overall we'll be able to make it work with budget and make them still come out.
Based on what the housing is saying right now, when we were talking to Rose and everybody over at, with Rosh Coleman and stuff, I am guessing right now that we're gonna be about 30% under. It's not gonna be, if we're at 54 right now on impact fees, or no, we're 80%, I think we'll be at 30. Virginia's still booking, new houses left and right.
And this isn't a saddle ridge, or this is just, like Charles was talking about, that rock that they hit over there and put the other subdivision in a delay on their building.
Am I concerned about that? And Matt and I were talking about it, I'm not concerned, he's more concerned about it than I am. I think it's gonna equal out in the long run because we have a lot of stuff that we're not spending money on.
Good.
James is controlling his costs very well. There's some stuff that is booked in here that we did not have planned, which is like McCoy Lane. What else? For the water?
Well, we had the McCoy Lane that we did that water project, and then when they, contracted those two 12-inch main valves, all that got broke. I mean, that was money we had to expense as a capital project to repair it, make it. But we submitted that back to TxDOT to ask for reimbursement for one, our cost for the damages, as well as the water loss and that cost.
We're not going to see that yet.
Yeah, TxDOT still
Hers
reviewing.
was close to 22,000, I think is what Matt and I calculated today. So some of that's gonna come back on the repair.
So that's why you see some of that capital improvements to the water system at 6.115, that million down there, that 6.1 million. That was supposed to be for all the water projects we were deciding Charles had concerns about. So you see some of that money's been spent, but realistically, it wasn't C of O money. That was just money from projects, stuff got broken in the mid-budget.
The reimbursement, they're still working on the timeline, as we know.
Yeah,
for that.
I should have-
But if they stay within the timeline with the recovery schedule, we should be seeing it at the end of this fiscal year. So hopefully we'll get it all refunded back to us before the end of the fiscal year.
Matt and I were talking today, I wanna make that a separate line item anyway. I'm gonna keep the bond fund separate, so when you get a new copy of this next month, it's gonna be separated a little bit. So just because we can keep monitoring that a little bit more.
Awesome. Okay.
So James is doing well. He's a little bit over on the 50%, but like I said, we did have some unplanned water breaks and stuff. On the gas side, we're at 53% on the income. I think that's right where we need to be after the year. I'm not super concerned about that at all. His expenses, he's at 52 on the gas side. He's right where he needs to be. Sewer, we're at 88. We're a little bit low. Again, we have to watch out because I've got the bond funds in there, but if we go line item by line item, we're a little bit low again on the sewer impact fees, and that's gonna go back to what Matt has talked about a little while ago, and the tapping fee. So it's just a slowdown of the process of the home building. So, but when it comes to, some of the, expenses and stuff, he's running a little bit high in there, but again, we had
But we did quite a few.
This is in the sewer, correct?
Yeah, in the sewer.
Sewer's gonna be up. We had a big unexpected, issue over the plant with a big, it's probably $50,000 in repairs that we didn't anticipate in this budget, wasn't accounted for. That initial cost was closer to $100,000. But, little things like that. But we'll make it work. We'll do some budget amendments. Good news is there's, as you see in the first sheet, there's TDs for just situations like this. Big ticket item that you didn't anticipate for, that you have to pull from that CD to help fund this year.
But if you flip to that very last slide, I know the line items look scary, but overall, we're still doing around 50% if you do a whole recap, roll up on it. So the city is kind of exactly where they need to be. And every department is being very, very cautious of how they're spending, and they're bringing in a little bit more than they're supposed to. They do that, they're not supposed to, what was budgeted, so.
Awesome.
Once we get through the audit, we can make whatever journal entries, and that's done. We're gonna fix the chart of accounts and have a 100% picture of the budget, the way we presented it. So when you look at what we presented, what was approved, and how we approved budget amendments, this format will follow.
So I couldn't do that because what would happen, and I need what we call the adjusted entries. Once I have that, then I have a beginning number for the next year because some of the line items may change, and then I can change to the new chart accounts. So I go back again, this was gonna be a 2-year process of being able to clean up the account.
Well, council, this, like I mentioned, the main objective of them doing this for you all is to be able to kind of get an idea of how we're doing at the 6-month point. It's very obvious that our department heads are doing a great job in taking care of their budget, and our folks in City Hall in managing and tweaking and adjusting based on what we actually had. So just wanted to give you that. But with that, Any questions or anything for Lynette? Anything we need to ask on our budget? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Keep us in the loop. Let us know if there's anything else that pops up. But yeah, we're looking forward to that audit in the next meeting, so we can go ahead and take care of that. So that'll be great. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 10. We're doing really good. Informational items. I'll go ahead and go around the room, see if there's anything over here. Michael, Charles, anything informational items you want to share?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Paula, last minute Easter.
Easter, I'm actually working on that. I'm already, I had all editors today. We're working throughout the whole week. And then,
Okay, so Easter, the 8th, right? We're doing it the Saturday before, okay, over at the park. We're gonna get it, we're gonna get something for Richie and myself to send out.
I'll send out to you if I don't have it, I send it out to, the newspaper.
The newspaper has it? Okay, good.
Any of the council wants to do a budget? Please, we need for a budget. We need a budget. We need to do a budget to run around in the city. Come on, Michael. Come on, Michael. Come on. We need to say switch your buddies.
No, I wouldn't fit the suit.
I will alternate.
High waters that goes with it. Now keep us, just let us know, anything you need us to push out, okay? It's a great event, it's a great opportunity, I know a lot of kids look forward to that. So, and make sure that we just get all the groups involved that are gonna be out there helping us escort the kids and all that. All right, Lynette, anything else?
Oh, no.
Other than, Paula is probably not gonna be here for Easter, she has a part commitment. She's gonna help me prep everything, but if anybody can help, I would highly.
You gonna be here?
I will not be here. I did not see when I had asked for that time off, it was gonna be around that time. And I just found out it was gonna be around that time. So I'm so sorry.
She already had something planned, they came back out of it. I have no problem covering it for Matt, I'm sure we'll be here with me.
I'm bringing my kids down, because I got my kids in today, but they'll be
I've
here.
already told my 2 teenagers that
Your
we're.
weekend?
I think my son is
Yes,
really
Mom.
upset because he won't be here for help out, he doesn't help out. And I just told us that I was gonna be, that was canceled.
I was gonna put Brendan in the bunny suit, but I think a 6'7" bunny would scare the children.
Very good. Okay, thanks for the heads up on it.
I do have one, I forgot. On the 15th, Animal Control was involved in a minor accident where they were rear-ended by another vehicle. I've already got everything, conducted our investigation, purchased the DPS crash report. Everything has ruled the other driver at fault. They were actually cited for failure to speed. We've actually already gotten back the response from their insurance company accepting fault. So I've already sent everything back off to them with the damage estimate. It's like $3,500 to get that older Dodge pickup, the 2010. So we'll get it repaired prior to the auction. But accident, but no claims, no injuries, minor damages, and we'll move forward.
Okay. Next meeting, we'll know a date for the auction.
I'm hoping we're working on getting that list by the end of this month or really close thereafter. That way I can get the list of everything. I think talking to all the department heads, there wasn't much really in the departments as far as what they need to auction off, other than vehicles, which is gonna bring people there. I'll work with James and maybe the PD, and James realistically probably have a lot of little things that they don't use anymore, they're older, that we can auction off maybe, but I'll probably have to work with James and him just because they need to stay working on their stuff. I can get one guy and in a day go through a nickel list of everything.
Richie's shelf life is up, we're putting him on the auction. He had a 20-year shelf life, it's over.
If James sits still too long, I'm gonna auction him. But no, well, I hope to have it by hopefully the first meeting of next month. The list of what I want to list is surplus and allow us to auction, and then set the date for hopefully in there.
Yeah. Awesome.
We got several vehicles which should bring the crowds.
That'll be good. Now, whatever we don't, we can get also taken care of.
On surplus.
6 is beautification day?
May.
May 6th.
That's what we said, we try to get it in line so we can get it taken care of. Richie?
No, sir, nothing.
Anything going in the back, anything else? James, you got anything?
Yeah, we turned on water for the truck stop IHOP the last week. And it kind of surprises her looking for gas too now. And we got gas, it's probably a quarter mile away. It's on the other side of the creek. So you gotta figure out how to get gas over there.
They will work through Virginia and CPS Energy, and CPS will develop what they need to put it over there and what that cost is, and we'll hand it to the developer and say that's what it's gonna cost to get gas.
So CPS told Virginia they're gonna have to go under the creek, so it's probably gonna be a pretty high amount.
But they're building a $1 million truck stop. I'm sure they can afford to do it.
Yeah, but it's their cost.
Pretty good. Thanks, James. Hearing anything? That's over here. Jesse? Anything else? Sam? Anything at all? All right, okay, so a few things I want to go ahead and pass on. First of all, I just want to go say thanks to everybody that was involved with the festival. A lot of kudos all the way around. I think people, I even saw where they're already talking about, people are asking about the dates for next year. I guess it's already established in 22nd, 23rd. They already have tentative dates that they were talking about. But folks that attended, people that participated and stuff, they really got some good feedback. There are some things that we'll need to address and we'll take a look at, parking being one of them. Went along with that, along with a few other ones, but we'll work with the chamber to try to do that. But thank you to City Hall, Public Works, Parks, PD, Fire, Chamber, Chuck Weimer team, scheduling. Kudos to Matt and Brad. You guys were out there from the morning to the end, just trying to take care of stuff. I will tell you, it was just all the way around. If you can show up at 5 o'clock in the morning and the cooks are having a good time out there, you got a good festival going on. And everybody was happy to be there. Of course, a few of them, it just happened that the people that I took some photos with ended up being winners. So that was even better. When they were struggling, trying to figure things out, and then you see them actually being recognized. So it was pretty cool. And some of the people were really excited. The families were. Thanks for PD and Fire Marshal for assisting on both fires recovery. As you know, we've talked about the fires that happen here, but they don't stop there. They've actually been very involved with helping out both the business and both the apartments and trying to come up with a game plan with the recovery and everything that happens along with that, and also taking care of the people that were inside the apartments. We did have one of the veterans that was living inside that apartment, and by getting the right agencies involved, we were able to take care of him. He has relocated, and he's in a better place. So that's a good thing. So all the way around, kudos for everybody for stepping up. I do want to give kudos to the Methodist ministry folks down in Divine. They came through with finding quite a few agencies that were able to help out a lot of the residents that were in those facilities. So kudos to them. Congratulations to the VFW meeting. I know some of our council was there to be able to see that. If you haven't heard, VFW is finally getting a permanent building. That's going to be a great thing, even though it's going to be outside the city limits, but it's great for our community here for events. We have a few folks that want to do things with the youth, whether it's martial arts or other things, and now they're going to have a facility that is going to be available for them to be able to teach and provide some of the after-school activities and stuff like that, along with rental of the facility and having a meeting place for that. Do want to provide a TxDOT update of where we're at. So on our frontage roads, we had a meeting last week, and then we actually got follow-up stuff that was going along with that. So picture yourself going on 3170 or going on 3175 underneath 35, and you're at the intersection, and you got Texan Bank on your left. You got the new truck stop, convenience store on your right. If you turn on the right going southbound towards Trophy Bucks and Texan Trailers, for 3 weeks starting tomorrow or Wednesday, they're going to go ahead and shut that down. Okay. In other words, if you are going anywhere past the Texan trailers, big Tex trailers, you're going to have to go to Natalia and come back. That's going to be a one-way. But if you're just going up to that point, you'll have two-way traffic while they're working on that.
Did they take the traffic signal out? I thought they were going to do a signal there on both ends. Maybe they took it out though. Okay.
Yep. So that's going to be the one that they're going to be working on. the second thing that is gonna happen is probably tomorrow or Wednesday, on the Bill Miller side, they're gonna flip lanes. Right now, we're using the left lane for going down. You know, if you're traveling southbound, it's on the left lane. They're gonna flip and start working on the left, so you're gonna be using the right lane like you normally would. So that should be happening because they're finishing up the curbs and a few other things. And then lastly, the one that we've really been waiting for is the Best Western side. They're saying by Friday, Saturday, the latest, they're gonna go ahead and have two-way actually open. Right now, they're pouring the curbs. They've been working on that. They got a few other things. They're not gonna be doing the sidewalks, so come back and do sidewalks, but that will alleviate some of the traffic and give us more flexibility, but they'll be opening up the two ways. So, that's really good stuff. So Matt, thank you for being, you know, in the sense of just being coordinated effort, working with Daryl and making sure that we kind of get things going. And it just worked out for the best for us to go ahead and take care of that. Audit, we're looking forward to that. So thank you, Lynette, for already taking care of that. Calendar stuff, want to remind folks, we got the last two fish fries over, right, Sam? Sam is out there. I see him every time I go out there. He's helping out. So if you haven't taken advantage of that, please take advantage of that. We got the Easter event on the 8th of April. Looks like maybe, did we already have the inspection with Stripes? Did that happen today? Nope. Okay.
They haven't called,
So we're waiting for that. So we got city and then corporate doing their things. Hopefully everything lines up maybe in the next few weeks, maybe the middle of April. If everything lines up, we'll actually have that place opened up. Seniors Mill on the 20th of April. Please pass the word around. This is one where we provide a little bit more. Great opportunity, and we will have that community outreach on the same day. We already have other people lined up along with Methodist Hospital coming in and doing some free screening for seniors, also to help out with that. So that's going to be a concentration for the 20th. Kudos all the way around for the ISD. If you haven't heard, the Pirate one-act play, got a chance to go see them. Just unbelievable kids. And they only have one senior that is graduating this year in the cast and one crew member. All of them are coming back next year. They're going for area competition. I can just see them keep going. I mean, they're really, really, really good. So this year and next year, we definitely have really good opportunity for that. But if you see those kids, you know, please encourage them. It's actually this weekend on the 1st of April. The film, the folks that won at the state they got invited to another competition. So there's another competition coming up. Once we get that done, we'll have them come to council for recognition. Another state winner and another possibility of another festival or film category that they might win. So they've done a really good job across the board. Pirate track, baseball, softball teams, they've been doing good. You know, we got different opportunities to support them here locally or here in the communities that are next to us. Please go out there. I will tell you, I've been talking with some of the ISD folks. We have had a tremendous year all the way across. Tremendous year, academically and athletically. A lot of these seniors, you know, Natalie that was here, she got highlighted with her academics, you know, at the state level too. So, I mean, it's great just to be able to do that. I think they're going to run out. They're looking at putting a shirt together and putting all the achievements they had this one year. And I think they don't have enough room for the first time in many years. They've done really, really good. And I wouldn't be surprised that they might pop up in some sort of recognition statewide because they collect points for every time that they get recognized for something. So I wouldn't be surprised.
They're fourth in the state right now in 3A in points.
There you go.
Out of 160 something school districts in 3A.
Number 4.
My son was reading that off last night. They're number 4 in points right now. They're 3 points away from number 3.
And they had the Royals coming and all that. I know that Mallard, they came in first and third, so they advanced.
What were they going up to area where they're at, Sam?
I don't know
The next competition, I think, is the 21st and the 22nd.
Okay, keep us posted, please let us know, okay? I definitely wanna make sure that we give them the recognition.
Band UIL's coming up.
And the band UIL's coming up. I mean, I'm telling you, we're having a great year. So please support them. And PD, thank you. I know all the escorts and everything, but I tell you,
No, it's not,
you guys, you set the tone for them.
That's easy
I remember the one, they didn't want to do anything with the film. They were going to state. But when you guys actually received them at the post office, at first they were wondering what was going on because the cops pulled up to them. But I tell you, they were on cloud nine that night. The parents were excited, everybody was excited. So kudos for being able, for you guys and our SRO, Officer Valdez, for doing that for them. So we appreciate that. Okay, any last minute, anything you remember? Okay, birthdays. So we have April on the 9th of April, right, Cassandra?
Yes.
So you got that one. We got Elias on the 10th of April. We got Gordon on the 12th of April. We got Rosario on the 20th of April. So we got a few.
Dave, everyone was 6 of it.
And I was gonna say, we say the last. We got David. It's gonna be before our next meeting. So we definitely need to go ahead and take care of a council. So if you guys can all help me and join me for David, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you, cha cha cha. Happy birthday to you, cha cha cha. Happy birthday, dear David, cha 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 cha. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, we meet our budget.
There you go. There you go. And as tradition follows, Richie gets the other secret.
Probably one of the best things is mayor he came up with. One of our
Richie's always looking forward.
I wish people had 2 or 3 birthdays each month.
All right. So with that in mind, can I have a motion for us to adjourn? It's 9:08.
So make it.
Okay, got a motion? Got a second? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, so let's go ahead and show 9:08. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Appreciate it.
Okay, Sandy?